That's it. What say we go to Swampy Jack's in Panama City and give it a whirl?
I hear he's got a mostly tame swamp ape there.
Oh, come on. You can't catch them, much less tame them. Why, they're the hide-and-seek world champion.
Swampy Jack's Wongo Adventure, 284 Powell Adams Road, Panama City Beach.
At Panama City Toyota, summer starts now.
And you'll get 2.99% APR plus 90 days until you make your first payment on a new Camry. Get 2.99% on the fun-to-drive Corolla. Stand out and get 2.99% on a new RAV4. Or go bold and get 2.99% on the tough Tundra.
Celebrate summer with a great deal from Panama City Toyota.
Offer expires June 3rd. Visit PanamaCityToyota.com. New ownership and brand new renovations at Bayside Marina, the one-stop shop for all your boating needs in Panama City. Boat storage, valet service boat launching, pontoon rentals, non-ethanol fuel, on-site mechanic, ice, drinks, cleaning station, live bait and tackle. Our marina store is loaded. Relax and enjoy your day on the water at Bayside Marina, Big Daddy Drive, Panama City Beach, or call 850-234-7650. That's 234-7650.
1, 2.
I'm in love with a man named Rudy. I'm okay with that. He knows exactly what I want. He keeps me coming back. He cooks breakfast, lunch, and dinner for me. Does the dishes too. I'm in love with a man named Rudy. Last name Barbecue. It sure is easy to fall in love with Rudy's tasty oak smoked barbecue.
Next in line.
It's the Dolly Southern Sweets Collection, available now only at Krispy Kreme Donuts. Sink your teeth into the chocolate cream pie, or how about the Southern favorite banana pudding pie? Or the Southern sweet peachy king cobbler. Last but not least, try the Dolly Dazzler. And wash it all down with the peachy king lemonade chiller. All delicious and available only at Krispy Kreme Donuts. In front of HCA Hospital on 23rd Street in Panama City and on the Ross Clark Circle in Dothan.
WPLQ Port St. Joe, WGSX Haven, powered by Panama City Toyota.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
Are you ready?
Okay, let's begin.
Trip. The Afternoon Underdog Trip. Live and local. Inside the Talk House.
Unleash the Dragon.
I'm the Sports Talk Monster. ESPN Northwest Florida.
What is going on, Northwest Florida? You are now riding with the Afternoon Underdogs, and you're tuned into ESPN Northwest Florida. 104.3 right here in Panama City and 101.9 in Port St. Joe. I'm David Hayes along with Caveman Rick. We should have Tyler Bishop here in just a little bit. You guys can call or text us, 850-215-6290. Max Delyden was delighted to weasel his way out of today's Your Minute with Max. Now, I'm just kidding. He was hosting the Inside Drive today, filling in for the normal host, Ryan Mulvey. Ryan Mulvey had some award ceremonies for his sons, or actually, I think it was just Ryan's today. But he'll be back tomorrow, somewhere around the halfway point of the show. So Max filled in today. And that was a good old time, and he did a great job as always, but he's got a cornhole tournament tonight, so no Max for Your Minute with Max. But Caveman Rick, I mean, where are you at with cornhole? It's on ESPN. Is it still just an activity, or are we considering it a sport now?
I guess you could probably call it a sport, right up there with something like horseshoes or something that effect, maybe darts. I've never really got into cornhole, to be perfectly honest with you. When it came out, started getting popular, I was doing other things, and I just never really kind of took it up. But, anybody can pretty much play it, it seems like. And
I think we all love sports that everyone can play. I would consider it a sport. I know it's more like a leisure activity, and I know we have these conversations around this time of the year, which is so convenient because there is not there's a lot going on in the sports world, but not a lot of conversational topics. But there is. I mean, you've got Jaden Rashada, who's suing Billy Napier and the Florida Gators Raiders, essentially. So he's the first known player that's going to be suing not just Billy Napier, but a head coach. And he's over there at Georgia now, going to be backup quarterback or maybe QB3, depending on if Gunnar Stockton ends up winning. That's his name, right?
Yeah.
Tyler's in the building with his Gunnar Stockton. QB2 looking like for now, but that situation is wild. You've got the whole Big 12 House versus NCAA going on. So a lot of lawsuits, man. I think we need to, who is that guy that we used to have on? Was it Dan Lust, maybe?
Maybe. I think, the legal guy.
Yeah, he was the legal analyst. And then I'm just thinking, I'm like, man, that is a awfully, if Lust is his last name, I feel like that would have stood out to me more back in the day when we were interviewing, but I need to reach out to him. He would be the perfect guest to have on to talk about lawsuits and stuff that just go way over my head.
Scheffler.
Yeah, Scotty Scheffler. There's a ton that we can bring up with him. There's a ton we can bring up with you guys as well today, because at 5:40, we're going to be giving you the cue to call, and we're going to take caller number 10. Caller number 10 will win a family 4-pack to Truist Park for next Monday's game on Memorial Day between the Washington Nationals. So if you want to go to the Braves game, we've got your opportunity right here on ESPN Northwest Florida. And if you miss out on today's opportunity, don't fret, because tomorrow at 12:40 on the Inside Drive, we'll also be giving away another family 4-pack. You don't have to come to the station to pick these up. We'll email them to you, and it should be a great time. Your Atlanta Braves had the doubleheader yesterday, lost the first half after getting out to a nice lead, a 5-0 lead early on in the game. Then the bats for the Padres got to work against the Braves bullpen. The Padres ended up winning that game 6-5. Chris Sale with another dominating performance, and the Braves win the second half of the doubleheader. They've got the Cubbies tonight. That game will be at 6:40 this evening. But don't forget, final segment, 5:40. Be the 10th caller when we give you the cue to call, and you'll be on your way to a Braves game next Monday afternoon. It's going to be Charlie Morton going for the Braves tonight up against Assad for the Cubs. Last time Charlie Morton faced the Cubs, they got knocked around. That was last Sunday, the final, No. It was last Wednesday, I believe, because they ended up losing 7-1 in that game. And Assad was lights out for the Cubbies. All right, what do you know about this whole Jaden Rashada, Billy Napier ordeal? It just seems wild. It goes back to him essentially, tell me if I'm wrong on this, I think it was like a $13.8 million collective NIL deal that he was supposed to get, but he was promised a $1 million partial payment and never got that. Is that where the root of this lawsuit is coming from?
Yeah, I think basically so Jalen Rashada's agreement was one of the first publicized NIL contracts that got released. I don't know if you remember that 6 months ago. Was
it the one with Miami or the one with Florida?
It was actually the one with Florida.
Yeah.
But I think part of it is okay, I gave up this deal with Miami because y'all promised me this. Allegedly, Billy Napier called him on signing day, be like, hey, I will wire you $1 million, wire you $1 million today to make sure you sign. All that's kind of the he said, she said of it. I don't know enough about the lawsuit to say if that's fact or fiction or somewhere in between. But I think basically it's hey, I gave up another deal because you promised me this deal, so now I missed out on the other deal. And if that's actually what happened, I can't say I really blame him. It's kind of a weird place to be in college sports.
Very weird.
It used to be, you pay the guy under the table, $100 handshakes here and there. They rent out a car for pennies on the dollar, all the different ways to give these illicit benefits to the players. But now it's I'm suing a school / coach for 7+ figures. And
but there was no black and white, right? This was all wink, wink, kind of agreement.
They released
the phone calls
were agreement at some point. That was released to The Athletic, and it was there to read. And they because it was one of the few times okay, they said $13 million, and that was a real contract. It was there in writing somewhere.
Okay.
So I don't know how much of that's enforceable. Some of it may be verbal contracts in the state of Florida are one thing. I don't know. I don't pretend know enough about the legal side to go too deep into it. But I'm assuming that he's got a case, right? You wouldn't risk this type of bad publicity, I think, because
I don't know. He's already been you're putting yourself back into the limelight for this type of negativity.
But I think you only do it if it's worth them. Like, if you think you're entitled to enough money, that's worth it.
You hope they settle out of court and you get something that way because it'd just be easier.
See, maybe if he was at Arizona State able to actually compete for the starting job, he'd be able to make NIL money. But because he's over there at Georgia being quarterback 3, possibly quarterback 2, that makes it a little bit more difficult for him to be able to profit off of his name, image, and likeness.
Plus, the headline's just so much better. Like, backup quarterback for Georgia sues the Florida head coach. That's just, I mean.
But it's not NIL. They're not getting paid for name, image, and likeness. When you're getting paid before you even step a foot on the field and nobody really even know who you are, you're not getting paid for NIL. You're just getting paid to play.
I don't know, dude. He had he played in 4 games last year, 4 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. That seems like a name, image, likeness deal to me. I'm being absolutely.
What's crazy about everything basically involved with NIL right now is like the collectives. The collectives want you to donate $20 a month. Oh, donate and we'll give you whatever. Like, it's like a subscription almost. Like,
but to be a fan.
But the NIL is supposed to come from companies getting some sort of return on this investment, not the average Joe, not you, me, and Dave throwing them $60 to pay somebody. Like, they wanted a piece of the television revenue, and we're giving them a whole different pie.
Right.
Like, we're not giving them a piece of that pie. It's a whole new cake.
You're looking at it like there's something wrong with it, which there is. But I mean, it's no different than the NFL team asking for the fan base to pay for a new stadium. It's on par with that. It's the same thing.
I don't know. But the thing is, colleges are asking you to do both.
You're saying, give us money so that we can provide a better team for you and we can buy players, okay, as a fan. All right, instead of a corporation. How is that any different than saying, hey, give us some money so we can build a new stadium so we can play in front of you guys? To me, I think it's on par. It's just on a grander scale.
But the thing is, colleges still ask for donations from boosters to build the stadiums and upgrade the facilities. And at least the taxpayers, when they help pay for a stadium in Buffalo, the taxpayers are at least getting the tourism revenue into the city. So
a little kickback.
Ideally, that kind of stuff. But that's the thing is, college wants you to pay the players and fund the locker room upgrades, the facility upgrades. It's everything.
I mean, that's where they get a lot of their money. Like when a town of 25,000 or whatever without the school and the students there turns into 500,000 on a weekend for a big game or something. Yeah,
well, that's the thing. Like, Athens, Georgia would be very little without the university there.
It'd be nothing. It'd be no ground.
Yeah, it would probably never survive.
There'd be a lot of towns. Well, I don't want to say a lot,
a red
but
flashing light in the middle of town flashing.
Yeah, one horse town.
What would the state of Alabama be without the University of Alabama?
Yeah, or even Auburn. I mean, it'd
be Mississippi. No.
it'd be an afterthought, pretty much, in a lot of ways.
Oh my goodness, man!
Because we don't need iron from Birmingham and stuff like that anymore, and places like that. Where that's typically what made that town as popular as what it was. Back in the day.
So, how much of you think that this could? Obviously, it's not a troll job. It's not a troll job. I just find it interesting that you go to Georgia. Do you think Kirby Smart was like, hey, I was kind of looking over your deal via The Athletic and kind of talked with some of the coaches, and we just think it would be a good idea to go ahead and get into the head of Coach Billy Napier. So let's start a lawsuit with him because we're not worried about this getting to your head. You're not going to be on the field very much.
It's hard not to think that it didn't play. It's funny because it was quoted he presented the lawsuit to Kirby Smart and he got his blessing from Kirby. Or
something.
Really? He talked. I guess he talked to him before it went public.
Okay.
That and Kirby gave him his. But I guess at that point, what are you do? No, you can't do that.
Yeah.
But
it's corporate espionage.
Yeah.
It's. I'm not gonna say even if it was intentional. I don't hate it. That's what rivalries are for. That's what sports is about.
I think that's what brings interest or makes it interesting to me is we're talking about a guy who went to 4 different high schools. Well, no. He went to 3 different high schools. Started out at kind of a prep place over there in, I believe it was California. Then he comes over here to IMG for a year. Then he goes back to California, I believe, to play at Pittsburgh. So then you have that. Then you have a guy who is basically whittled down to 2 schools, Miami and Florida. Then he commits to Miami for $9 million or so. That deal falls through. So then he announces actually decommits from Miami is what happens. Then he announces his commitment to Florida for 13.
Signed with Florida.
Yeah, signed. Signed with Florida for $13.85 million, and then finds his way out of that deal. I guess weasels his way out of that deal essentially because he didn't get the $1 million payment or because they didn't. The deal fell through. So then finds himself at Arizona State, and really for the large part, it wasn't talked about very much. He got injured injured early on into the season. He had 4 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. He was 44 of 82 for 485 yards. Nothing about that jumps off the page. I don't know how you feel about this. I probably think that you're going to be more on the same page with me on this. I doubt he's going to be at Georgia for, if he feels like going into next year, Gunnar Stockton's going to be the guy. He's going to bounce.
No, I agree. I mean, the thing about Stockton is he highly recruited guy. He broke Deshaun Watson and Trevor Lawrence's all their high school records in the state of Georgia. He was coached at one point by our offensive coordinator's head coach, and he's going to be in the system 2.5, 3 years longer than Rashada. So if Rashada can beat him out going into next year, that means Rashada's really, what I'm saying?
Really
to
good,
beat out a guy who's that much experience in the system, been at Georgia for 3 years, all that kind of stuff. And like I said, no slouch himself. I don't foresee Jaden Rashada ever taking legitimate snaps at Georgia if I was guessing.
And the other thing, from the Florida perspective, you never want to see a lawsuit happen, especially be one of the first ones ever. But I think that the situation worked out better for Florida in the long run. Well, actually, we could just say in the immediate short term, because Graham Mertz was already there. They were expecting Jaden Rashada to compete with Graham Mertz. What if if Rashada ends up winning the job, which the record doesn't portray that, but Graham Mertz was the highlight of the Florida Gators last year. Only 3 interceptions, 20 touchdowns, 20-something touchdowns. So now, and then also, if Jaden Rashada, let's say that he outperformed Graham Mertz, wins the job. Let's say the Gators go 8-4 or something like that, like a positive record rather than 5-7. Does DJ Lagway stay committed at that point?
Yeah.
I mean,
he
seemed like
sit on the bench for a year or two.
Right. DJ Lagway seems like, at least from what we saw out of him in high school last year, he seems like he could be the real deal, but there's a lot to resurrect over there at Florida.
Yeah, and my favorite big brain conspiracy theory is that this was put on by Florida boosters to get Napier out of the job. Like, they're going to fire him for cause because of this whole situation, and paying Rashada the $13 million is cheaper than paying out Billy Napier's $26 million buyout. I mean, there's a lot of big, a lot of conspiracy tinfoil hat going on that side, which kind of, but I mean, if you look at what happened with the whole Greg McElwain thing and all that stuff before, whatever, there's some weird stuff that goes on in college athletics.
If Kirby did give his blessing on this lawsuit deal, would you say that's kind of petty, being the state of where Georgia's at right now and the state of where Florida's at? I mean, I can see
rivalries don't die.
But I mean, like, what else is he supposed to say?
No, I know, but I'm just saying if Florida was a lot more competitive, I can see where maybe you want to do that to kind of knock them down a little bit, but it's kind of like kick them in the teeth when they're already down, isn't it?
Hey, Kirby was a dog in the 90s when Steve Spurrier was over there in Gainesville. He has no love lost for the Gators. I can promise you that.
I probably feel you on there. I'm just saying.
No, I mean,
I think when you're in the SEC, especially against one of your more bitter rivals, you kick them down. Kick them in the teeth, kick them while they're down. Doesn't matter. Any opportunity that you get, as long as it's within the realm of decent sportsmanship, right? Or gamesmanship, not sportsmanship, gamesmanship. Because I would consider this to be a form. I mean, you could go a little deeper with it. I don't know if you said this in your tinfoil tangent right there, but what if someone from Florida was like, hey, this is the best way for us to get rid of.
Exactly. Yeah,
did you say that?
That was the whole.
Okay. That was that's. I like that one, man. Because you mentioned the $26 million buyout. Yeah, exactly. So maybe you're the reason why I even thought of that.
According to Kyle Albrecht, Rashada isn't in the same league as Lagway.
Yeah, I like his other one too.
People always say that when the guy doesn't choose their school. So I'm not saying he's right or wrong, but let's be honest though.
I think he knows a little bit more. He's a Florida fan.
Well, I mean, I'm not even doubting that he's right, but I mean, Arch Manning wasn't in the same league because he didn't choose Georgia. That's like recruiting 101. That guy wasn't even close. We didn't really want him.
Kyle also says he actually thought he was going to get that when the best quarterback in America and DJ Lagway was coming. He says he's the new Tate Martell. So, Tate Martell had himself a career of transfers as well. So, man, just kind of wild how this is all playing out. Just being the first, and then you also have what's going on in that house versus the NCAA deal, which could change completely. I mean, we're talking about $20 billion in back pay to former athletes.
I don't even know how that's a thing. I really don't.
That's where we're going to go in the next segment because I had something else prepped for this next set. No, I don't got nothing on that paper. Actually, there might be some little tidbits of it, but I've got a couple of articles pulled up, and then at 5 o'clock we're going to try to ride this out for the whole second hour, but do a little buy or sell on teams to make the college football playoff. Not name Georgia and Ohio State because you can go ahead and put 110% beside both of those schools. Did you see the video circulating of Ohio State fan? Kyle Burton actually tagged me in this. It was an Ohio State fan essentially trying to get other Ohio State fans to boycott the new EA Sports college football game because, and it's more of a funny video, but he starts off with a cover. All right, Quinn Ewers absolutely should be on the cover, right? Travis Hunter, one of the most exciting college football players and also has a high ceiling for the NFL as well, right? Then you go to Donovan Edwards.
Well, but I mean, you could argue he was MVP of the national championship game.
Okay, I mean, I'm with you. I'm just giving you the perspective of the Ohio State fan. And I mean, there's a few more notable players I would say on that Ohio State roster than Donovan Edwards is for Michigan. My first thought, seeing that was with Donovan Edwards is like, I think you always want to try to have a representative of the national championship team, and he did play a big role in that game, but he also did not play a big role in the regular season as big of as kind of what he did the year prior to
I would say, though, like kind of to the Ohio State point, like the average fan probably couldn't name you many Ohio State players right now.
Ooh.
I mean, McCord's gone, so who? I mean,
okay. I mean, that's one of his other points. Yeah.
I mean, they have a couple of freshmen, but you're not going to put a freshman. But I mean,
you're not going to put Julian
Trayvon Henderson. Probably people know him.
And you wouldn't go with Quinshon Judkins because
he hasn't played there yet.
Yeah.
I mean, their wide receivers are good,
Marvin
Harrison's gone. Like they don't have the big name going into the year they typically have.
You're right.
I mean, are you going to put Caleb Downs on there?
Dude, I hope Ohio State. I hope Ohio State.
I mean, and I think Ohio State's got a great roster. They got a great shot, but I mean, like I think the average fan couldn't name you a whole lot of guys on their starting roster, though.
I think that's actually a good point. Donovan Edwards would be more notable. I like the style that he was coming. Then he goes to them, showing a picture of Kyle McCord at Syracuse. Like if they didn't know you over there at Ohio State, why in the world are they going to be looking for you at Syracuse?
Syracuse is going to be a fun team to watch this year. I'm telling you that right now.
Well, what do you think it is that's going to make them a fun team to watch? Because didn't they start off kind of hot last year? I know they did the year prior, right, where they were like 5-0.
They brought they did pretty well in the transfer portal. They brought over Georgia's defensive backs coach, their new head coach up there.
Okay.
So I think he's going to bring some good energy to that program. He was Fran Brown. He was a huge recruiter in the Northeast. Was an assassin on the recruiting trail. I think he's going to end up bringing up better than average for Syracuse talent. And I mean, the thing is, the ACC behind Clemson and Florida State on any given year is such a huge toss-up. Like, sometimes a team like Syracuse, sometimes it's NC State, sometimes it's a team like Pittsburgh with Kenny Pickett a couple years back. Like, there's always a team that kind of comes out of nowhere in the ACC and starts competing. I think Syracuse could be one of those teams.
Yeah, and the final one is they had Illinois winning the rivalry game against them, and the score was 52-42. So, man, I am getting excited for July 19th. We are now officially less than 2 months away. We're going to go ahead and take a quick timeout. When we get back, LSU Jeff will be riding along with the Afternoon Underdogs.
ESPN Northwest Florida. The Afternoon Underdogs.
Hey, Braves fans. Today on the Afternoon Underdogs, it's your chance to win a family 4-pack of tickets to Truist Park. Experience the Atlanta Braves versus the Washington Nationals this Monday, May 27th on Memorial Day. Listen today at 5:40 for the cue to call. When you hear it, be caller number 10 at 850-215-6290. The Afternoon Underdogs are live and local, exclusively on ESPN Northwest Florida.
This is Joanna with ESPN Northwest Florida with your Tuesday's weather. The remainder of the day, there will be a gentle breeze out of the south-southwest, sunshine and 82. Mostly clear skies tonight, a little cooler at 71 and a wind around 2 miles per hour coming out of the north. Tomorrow, sunny and a light breeze right around 6 miles per hour with a high of 84. The same at 84 Thursday, and we'll have mostly sunshine. This forecast is brought to you by Ellis Agency Insurance. Thank you for keeping that dial at ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Discover the new Kia during the Summer Sticker Sales event going on now at Billburn Kia. Our SUV family is built for all-in adventures and endless possibilities. Whether you're traveling on the highways or off-road, you'll do it with grace and grit. Now offering 1.9% APR for up to 48 months on the purchase of a new 2024 Kia Sorento or a new 2024 Kia Sportage. You'll get the perfect balance of comfort, safety, and technology. Billburn Kia is the home of the 20-year, 200,000-mile warranty. Stop by and see us at 2435 East 15th Street or anytime at BillburnKiaPanamaCity.com. Now enjoy the view this summer because the road is yours in a brand new Kia from Billburn Kia.
Offer from Kia Finance America for the purchase of a new 2024 Kia Sorento or new 2024 Kia Sportage with $2,165 per month per 1,000 financed in 48 months. Quantities limited. No down payment required. Cannot be combined with other finance offers. The 20-year, 200,000-mile warranty is a Billburn Kia warranty. See dealer for complete details. Offer for well-qualified buyers. Must take delivery from dealer stock through 7/8/24.
As the weather heats up, so do the Braves. And they're showing the National League that they're still a force to be reckoned with.
3-2, that's hit very well to deep center field. That's heading back towards the batter's eye and way out of the ballpark.
Tonight, the Braves roll into historic Wrigley Field in Chicago for a National League battle with Dansby Swanson and the Chicago Cubs.
Coverage starts tonight at 6 after the Afternoon Underdogs on your home for the Atlanta Braves, ESPN Northwest Florida.
He listens to Post Malone. He drives a Honda with ground effects and has Pennsylvania tattooed on his right tricep.
Looking at a bad man.
David Hayes is part of the Afternoon Underdogs. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
And you are back in the doghouse riding along with the Afternoon Underdogs. This is ESPN Northwest Florida, 104.3 here in Panama City, 101.9 Port St. Joe. David Hayes along with Tyler Bishop and Caveman Rick at 540. We're going to give you the cue to call, and we're going to take caller number 10. Caller number 10 will win a family 4-pack of tickets to the Atlanta Braves hosting the Washington Nationals. That's going to be Monday, Memorial Day, May 27th. So get your phones ready, and if you miss your opportunity there, tomorrow at 1240 on the Inside Drive, we've got a couple of good text comments, but before we dive into those, let's go over to the phone line. LSU, Jeff, you're riding with the Afternoon Underdogs. What's up, buddy?
Hey, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Oh, there we go. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Those Ohio State fans, man, they're getting out of hand. They're loud and they're whiny, and they used to not be like this. And I guess it's the Michigan success has kind of really riled them up, and they've gone nuts.
You hear that, Kovaleski?
I mean, I smell what you're stepping in for sure. I'm going to tread lightly on that, but yeah, I do think that the success that Michigan has had, and then putting the exclamation point on it with the national championship, and then the lack of success that Ryan Day has had since being born on third base, I think that it has affected them negatively.
Yeah, and I think that Penn State kind of used to be the loudest one in the Big Ten, and they just haven't done anything. So they kind of, they've cooled it down. They don't talk as like they used to.
They're saying Dusty, it's kind of hard to do that. It's been very hard to do that.
Bro, I was like literally thinking that. I'm like, yeah.
I mean, let's be honest. Let's be frank about it.
Ever since that situation, it's you don't really hear much from the fans, at least from the sport of football, like maybe wrestling and some
wrestling. They're pretty sick.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They're but they also haven't had the high level of success. They've had those seasons every now and again. It's like when they had Saquon Barkley, when they had
hard to replace a guy like Paterno. I mean,
that's true.
Yeah,
that's true.
But these every fan I ever talked to from like Iowa and Wisconsin and all that, it's like they have more hate for Ohio State now than has ever shown up. I really am. I'm shocked at how it's changed. But I will say this about it is that, and you can listen to the Coach Hale show in the morning. They love Ohio State. I mean, they're adding a lot of players, and they have a lot of money in that program right now. And if they don't produce this year, oh man, I don't even know. I mean,
Ryan Day's got to be gone. If they lose to Michigan this year.
Oh, they lose to Michigan this year. Golly. That's going to be bad.
What if it's another one of those ones where they're undefeated, headed into that game, looking like one of the class programs in college football, and then they lose and go into the college football and have another great, a decent run of success, because now you can actually go on runs in the college football playoff.
I guess if you make the playoff, and you kind of have to ignore the Michigan game as much as it just sticks in your craw a little bit. You have to be okay with it.
Man, like Ohio State fans, like he's saying, they're kind of like, kind of crazy. If they lose, I think he'd be gone.
But if they lose to Michigan and make like the title game and lose to Georgia, is it really a big deal they lost to Michigan? I mean, no, they're going to care more about the championship loss.
Though, too. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to look at who you're going to get is better.
Okay, so the interesting thing is, let's say Ohio State loses to Michigan. They get a 5 or 6 seed in the playoffs, because we're talking playoffs now.
5 will be Notre Dame. 5 will be Notre Dame.
So, if Notre Dame loses 1, but if they lose 2, they're going to totally not be number 5 or 6 for sure.
Oh, man.
And Oregon State is the dark horse. Not saying that they're great, but they can play that light ass, not WAC conference. What's the Mountain West?
Yeah, I was about to say the Pac-2, brother.
Yeah, Pac-2 and then Mountain West, because they have like 6 opponents from Mountain West on the schedule.
Yeah.
I mean, them going 11-1 is feasible. The Beavers are going to be playing lighter schedule than they've ever played. But anyway, let's say Ohio State takes a 5 or 6 seed with 1 loss. I mean, they could sneak in, and a 6 seed knocks off a 3. Maybe they don't even have to play a 2, and they could get in the national championship with Georgia, and that might save Day's job. But but still, I don't know. I just think that I don't know what I hear about all these other Big Ten fans. They all hate Ohio State right now, and I don't understand why. I mean, you would think that they would put the hate on Michigan for winning, but they don't.
I think that people tend to like Michigan and the way they go about it. To me, it's like a New York Yankees, Boston Red Sox thing, right? Where the Yankees, no matter if they're playing good or if they're playing bad, are hated. Now, sometimes when they're playing bad, they're kind of irrelevant. So same way you could put Ohio State into that. But when Ohio State's playing great, and normally they're always playing great across the board in athletics, so I think that they're one of those teams, when they do good, they are hated. Whereas Michigan, their success normally is inconsistent.
Yeah,
I'll say that, and and maybe a lot of it has to do with Harbaugh and the suspensions and everything. I think if you put Michigan and Ohio State, and it's a choice for Big Ten fans, or even Big Ten fans are gonna be like, I like my team and that's it. I think a majority of people, especially around this way, would take Michigan. But I might be totally wrong on that. All I can say is this: I also align with those other Big Ten fans. I hate Ohio State.
They won too much.
And I think well, that's the thing is, I mean, Ohio State's probably what
I hate
20
their
of the last 25 Big Ten champions. So I mean, it's not surprising that most of the teams in the Big Ten hate, kind of like a lot of SEC fans hate Bama right now, right? And like
Georgia is on their way.
Georgia's kind of like Michigan, they've become better the last few years. So they've started winning, and they may not rub people as much the wrong way yet.
Right.
But they keep winning like they did. Obviously, with Harbaugh leaving is a little different for Michigan. But like, I think it's just like people who hated New England and Tom Brady, Bill Belichick. People just hate winners after a while. I think that's part of it.
Kansas City is Georgia right now.
Yeah.
Or Georgia's Kansas City.
Kansas City's further along. Kansas City's hated now, especially with the Taylor Swift thing.
It's a little bit more advanced.
They're there, dude. They're there.
I don't know if they're there yet, though.
There. People are getting like
I think that the Taylor Swift stuff, people are tired of, but I think that's just because people like to complain about stuff, and a lot of people have their own reasons. But I don't know if Kansas City is there yet because of how likable Patrick Mahomes is for the most part.
They're there. It's
okay.
I think it's getting.
I'm normally I'm one of those ones who hate greatness, hate overly good greatness. Respect it. I respect it tremendously because I think it's great for the game. It's just boring. Like even when Alabama was on their runs, for me there's that split side inside of myself that's like this is like great. The fan of me loves this. The Alabama fan in me loves this, but also it's just boring for college football to know, hey, it's going to be Alabama and Clemson this year or whatever it may be.
It's been 7 years though. It's been, like I said, it's there.
All right. What about for you, LSU, Jeff? Do you hate the Chiefs yet?
I don't. You know what? I don't hate the Chiefs, but the fact that I wasn't really enjoying a Patriots dynasty, I'm not really ready for another dynasty.
Right.
But I respect Mahomes and I respect Reed's ability to get all these different players and to still win, especially when it counts. Because let's be honest, they weren't a shoe-in this past year.
Right.
Like, I'll say this about Andy Reid, okay? I'm a Philly fan, preference this, okay? He didn't win with us. We went to one Super Bowl. He's a great coach, right? Hall of Fame coach. I think he gets put up a little bit right now because of, well, he's got Patrick Mahomes. If he had Patrick Mahomes or somebody like that in Philly, he'd probably be doing what he was doing in Philly. You know what I'm saying? So, like, people need to pump the brakes, I think, a little bit on Andy Reid. Great coach, but until he had Patrick Mahomes,
well, let's focus on what we're talking about right here, which we're not even talking about what we were initially talking about, because I'm taking us on little tangents off of each sidewalk and onto little side trails. But I don't think that the Chiefs are there yet, man. And what's another reason why you hated the Patriots in particular? The cheating allegations. And the cheating allegations haven't necessarily been there. There hasn't been any cheating allegations.
7 years, the same team's been kind of doing the same thing. Like I said, it just gets tiresome. You want to see some new blood, see something else.
Yeah.
Yep. And if you weren't a Lakers or Celtics fan in the 80s, I mean, you lost total interest because it was the same two teams over
or
and over.
Or a Bulls fan in the 90s.
But isn't that what a lot of people credit the NBA getting back on track was Magic Johnson and Larry Bird?
Not even on track, just like, you know, like...
relevant? Just any sort
They weren't
of
showing
relevance.
games on tape delay.
Yeah. Well, I mean, all there really was Dr. J. That was the excitement before them.
Yep.
Right State Chris says, can you let everyone know that I also hate Ohio State? And can Caveman Rick name a Super Bowl champion where the coach was the reason why they won and not the quarterback? We'll let you think. That's a tough one to think of off the cuff there. So we'll let you think a little bit about that. Nothing comes to my mind.
Like Brian Billick with the Ravens.
Ravens and Trent Dilfer. That was
Or like Tony Dungy, or no, Gruden with the Bucks.
Maybe we're not throwing shade on Brad Johnson on this show. All right, we're just not doing it. We're just not. All right, LSU.
Danny Cannell, we can trash Danny Cannell though.
Ooh.
Oh yeah. We can definitely trash Danny Cannell. How much time we? No.
Oh man, what else you got today, LSU Jeff? I love this because I think I'm about to start a poll. Like, do we hate Kansas City Chiefs as much as the Patriots?
Wow, that's interesting.
I don't think that is
probably not yet. I think. I think it's not yet. But but listen. So you hate? Well, not you. We hate teams that win. And in the past, on the West Coast, they all hated USC because they won.
Mm-hmm.
But everybody right now kind of hates Oregon because they talk, but they don't win they don't win the whole thing. And I think Alabama's hated because they win for the last, decade, we'll say, more. But people hate Tennessee because they run their mouth and they would shut up. So Ohio State is more successful than Tennessee or Oregon, but they're hated just the same because they just run their mouth right now.
Man, I don't think I've ever noticed the hate for Oregon, really, because until the situation with Colorado last year, where it was really Colorado was doing what they were doing consistently, and then Dan Lanning with the
We're here to play for like wins, not clicks. Or something like that.
Wins, not clicks.
Wasn't Chip Kelly when he was there a little tiresome and people, were getting a little done?
I guess I agree. I didn't realize people really hated Oregon. I thought like Oregon was kind of that fun niche team, especially for here in the South. Like, oh, they're a cool West Coast team. They've got all the different uniforms, but they're not really relevant enough for us to really care about in the South. I mean, they've made
no huddle offense.
Yeah, Chip Kelly's offense at that time was kind of new and fun and fast paced, and they had some burners on, DeAnthony Thomas and Kenyon Barner, some fun guys like that, and Joey Harrington was a thing back in like 2003.
There you go.
I mean, I'll take his word for it that people hate Oregon, but
I like that. Like bringing that up, because for me, I'm right there with you, and maybe that's just maybe it's just a personal preference of the teams that you kind of hated or liked. Maybe not growing up, but just as you grew up.
He was spot on about Tennessee fans. Tennessee fans, they like to talk like Miami fans, like they're back every year, and then they go like.
And those are, to me, those are just fun. Like it's just funny.
Oh yeah,
you know what I mean?
It's fun to talk a little trash with them.
Well, because when I was growing up, and we've talked about this before, but with Alabama, they were not a powerhouse when I was watching football. They were garbage. But you didn't hear, like, my dad was never like, this is the year for Alabama again. This is the year. Even when we first got Saban, it was like, hey, he's won a national championship before. Maybe he can bring us back to prominence at least. And then, 3 years into, well, not 3 years, 3 years in, he wins his first national championship in 2009. So what, about 6 years in, then it was like, holy cow, this is, and that's when Alabama fans gained about 2.8 million fans at that point. And that's when they started becoming hated. And I can't blame anyone for hating Alabama fans, not just because of how great the team was, but it gets a little tiresome, man. And it's tiresome as a fan having to do all that bragging for your team,
Pat yourself on the back for that long just really, it starts to hurt yourself a little bit.
What about LSU fans, Jeff? Where do they stand?
Coach Hale says that they're nasty, but I think it might just be I don't know. I think it's past experiences, and then some of the young fans right now. There are some young fans that are toxic, but
that's every fan base, right?
I'd say I went to Baton Rouge in 2018 and watched Georgia lose in a very ugly game, like 2 weeks after Hurricane Michael. But I had a great time with LSU fans. It was a good time. We went down to Chimes, had a good meal and some fun times, and they were just handing out food on the sidewalks and everything else. I had a great time with LSU fans.
I think. Go ahead.
Well, what's interesting is that LSU doesn't have like a natural enemy. I mean, sure, we have that rivalry with Alabama, whatever, but in state, like we cheer for Tulane and Tech and everybody. We don't have that main, in-state rivalry where everybody else kind of has something similar to that,
That's a great point. I guess I would kind of like, and I don't know if Caveman Rick's going to like this comparison here, but LSU fans kind of the Philly fans, where they're they can be a little bit more brash than other fans. Not saying that their kids are out there, flipping double birds and stuff.
See, I think LSU fans are probably closer to the Bills fans.
Okay, all right, that's all right.
Like,
they love fun.
Yeah, they love fun. Like I can totally see LSU fans jumping through tables in the parking lot. That totally seems like something you see in Baton Rouge.
Man, LSU Jeff, we might need to see that get started over there in Baton Rouge.
Dude, you don't even know the half of it. Like, my friends are crazy, and they're not even in Louisiana anymore, and they're still, like, super crazed LSU fans.
You know what I could see?
Vegas.
I could see LSU fans filling up a huge crawfish boiling pot and just jumping in that like a pool.
The biggest question is were they
non-boiling water.
Yeah. Were they just when the Mud Dogs won the Bourbon Bowl? That's the real question.
So my daughter made it. I just let you know. This is fully off subject. My daughter has been in Georgia for 1 year at college, and she made it to her first Major League Baseball game. She went to a Braves game yesterday.
Oh, let's go.
Yeah, she really enjoyed it. It was 3-0 win, and she said it was a good time. And let me tell you, in her younger years, she's been to like minor league games because that's all New Orleans has.
Mm-hmm.
And she was like 6th inning. She's like, "Let's go home," So it's kind of surprising. She stayed the whole 9 innings, and she had a good time.
That is awesome, man. And it probably didn't help that game was only like 2 hours and 20 minutes because Chris Sale was lighting them up, man. I had thought that the game started at 6:20 yesterday, but it was a 5:20 start. And so when I get the notification at like 7, I think, or actually, I don't even think it was a notification. I think I saw something on Facebook and it was timestamped 7:49. I'm like, they played that game in an hour and a half? What in the world? And then I went back and looked, oh yeah, it's 5:20. But man, I'm happy about that. So I'm happy for your daughter, happy for you on that. So now I'm sure that you're like, hey, we got to get tickets so we can go to a game and enjoy it together now,
huh? I picked the Reds when I called y'all 2 months ago.
How you feeling about that?
I might be backing out of that.
Yeah.
And the Braves, if the Braves keep it, together right now, I don't know. Braves got a chance.
Hey, they got a chance, but yeah, you got the Phillies playing really good. The Dodgers are starting to be exactly what we know them to be. The pitching staff starting to come together for them, and the Yankees are playing some really good baseball as well right now with a good bullpen.
Yep. So yeah, it'd be interesting. I mean, if I threw it and said Braves Yankees, series, I think that would have a lot of interest from around the nation.
Man, and if they could just let TBS broadcast every game of the World Series, that would be Wonderful. But it'll be Fox, though. It'll be Fox. I think there will be. Wait, I think they do the NLCS on TBS. So, yeah, Braves fans really want to see the Braves back on TBS on a regular basis. And TBS just opts for the national perspective there. But LSU, Jeff, we've got to get to a break. My friend, thank you so much for helping us kill that segment. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
Absolutely. LSU Jeff with a great call. You're riding with the Afternoon Underdogs. This is ESPN Northwest Florida. We're going to take a quick timeout. We'll be right back with our traffic jammin' trivia.
This Memorial Day, 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida honors our local heroes. A Panama City native, United States Air Force Senior Master Sergeant Sherry Lynn Olds served 20 years and died in the 1998 embassy bombing in Nairobi, Africa, while serving her country. Thank you for your service and great sacrifice. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
This is Joanna with ESPN Northwest Florida with your Tuesday's weather. The remainder of the day, there will be a gentle breeze out of the south-southwest, sunshine and 82. Mostly clear skies tonight, a little cooler at 71 and a wind around 2 miles per hour coming out of the north. Tomorrow, sunny and a light breeze right around 6 miles per hour with a high of 84. The same at 84 Thursday, and we'll have mostly sunshine. This forecast is brought to you by Ellis Agency Insurance. Thank you for keeping that dial at ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Hey there, business owners. Do you feel lost in a sea of numbers, struggling to navigate your day-to-day accounting? At Lighthouse CPAs, they specialize in guiding businesses to make more money and keep more of what you make. From bookkeeping to tax planning, they've got you covered. Plus, with their user-friendly software, managing your finances has never been easier. Spend less time on paperwork and more time growing your business. Call Lighthouse CPAs 850-785-5254.
It's time to pick your path and go big and go bold from Bill Bird Kia. You can drive away in a brand new 2024 Telluride from Bill Bird Kia. The 2024 Telluride protects what matters, and it's built for the long haul. Its technology will connect with confidence, and its upscale, all-around rugged look will take you on to the next adventure. The road is yours. Bill Bird Kia, the home of the 20-year, 200,000-mile warranty. Stop by and see us today at 2435 East 15th Street or BillBirdKia.com.
You want a big-time sports show? Tune in for the Afternoon Underdogs.
We're live and local here.
Weekdays from 4 till 6.
We need one more SEC team in there to shake things up.
The Afternoon Underdogs are on the air. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
And you are back in the doghouse. An hour from now, actually less than an hour, we're going to be giving away a family 4-pack in the lower 200 section for the Washington Nationals when they take on our Atlanta Braves at Truist Park this coming Monday. I believe the first pitch is going to be 6:20, but you guys will find out when you get the tickets.
I thought it was earlier, like 3 something.
It could be an earlier first pitch. I don't have that right here in front of me. And when you get the tickets, you will know. Rick says that was a quick game. Go Braves. Hopefully they can get it done tonight, as Assad is going for the Cubbies and Charlie Morton going for the Braves. Hopefully they can keep those sticks rolling. They were working well in game 1 of the doubleheader yesterday. Back-to-back home runs by Ozuna and by Matt Olson, and then they just kind of gave it up after the 5th inning in Game 1, and in Game 2, they got the shutout, 3-0.
Looks like 3:10. I don't know if that's our time, so it might be 4:10 Eastern, but that looks like the national game on Monday.
Kyle says, Dave, answer my call exactly as the 10th caller, and you can drive. I will work on that from here. If Caveman Rick can hand me that phone through the glass, then I will answer you as the 10th caller, Kyle Albritton. How does that sound? Because unless Caveman Rick, has been hanging out with David Blaine lately, I don't foresee that happening. We also got a good text from Gator Don earlier who wants to know, and I think they talked about this on the Coach James Hill show this morning, do you think Deion Sanders will be the next football coach for the Florida Gators when his son graduates from Colorado? Now, is Shiloh in the same class as Shador?
who knows with the COVID years? If I'm being honest, like the COVID years have made it where guys are playing 5-6 years. He's definitely pro.
You're able to play more. You can make more money. You can leave and you can come and leave whenever you want to. You get an automatic $600 if you opt into EA Sports College Football.
You get a pass, go collect $200.
Yeah, man, that's real life monopoly for these college athletes, and it might be, back paid as well for the former athletes.
If you're a Florida fan, you should not want Deion Sanders. 0% chance.
Oh, don't start on that yet, because we've got to get into that. I have a feeling that's 5 o'clock. We're gonna start with that, and then we'll work our way into buy or sell. That way we could take up the whole second hour with that. And if you guys got any teams that you would like to have us play buy or sell with, or if you'd like to call in and play along with us, 850-215-6290. I kind of also want to read off some text from some of the listeners. I don't even care if it's college football. What sports, not even fan base, what sports team do you just absolutely hate? What is one that just grinds your gears whenever you're hearing about them? For me, I
not rivalry.
Yeah, not right. Like if it's rivalry based, then that's just automatic, and it should be that way. Then let's not hear those. Like if Caveman Rick were to say Dallas Cowboys, I'd be like, well, if you didn't hate the Dallas Cowboys, I would ask kind of what's wrong with you. You know what I mean? Like if I were to sit here and say Auburn, like, well, duh, I think I'm stuck between two franchises right here, and I do, and I don't mean any disrespect to Ohio State fans. Really, I don't. I've never met an Ohio State fan that I'm like, I just don't like that guy. In fact, normally I don't care who your fandom is with. I'm not gonna hate anyone because, in fact, I would rather have friends of rivalries and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Because I think that it makes the game more fun, and to be able to watch games with Auburn fans or LSU fans, I think that's fun. Get the ribbing going on and all that good stuff. So I dislike Ohio State, and it's only because they're really good. All of these teams that I'm about to name is just because they're really good. I hate Ohio State. I cannot stand. This has been, I guess, just instilled upon me from birth, the New York Yankees. I cannot. And they've been garbage for a while now, right? Since they won back-to-back World Series in 08 and 09. But I can't stand the New York Yankees. Shout out Johnny Yankee Seed. See, look, it's not about the fans. It's about the teams. And then also, I've just always have hated, even when Big Shot Bob was hitting big shots for the LA Lakers, I can't stand the Lakers, man. And that was one of my dad's teams. The only team that I didn't get from my dad was he liked the Lakers and the Rockets for some reason. I don't know why he liked the Lakers at all. I think it was honestly because of Vlade Divac. All right. I hate the Lakers, though. I just have a strong disdain for them. And, with the GM being over there, it's kind of only made that a little bit stronger, talking about LeBron James. So what about for you guys? What are some franchises, or for Tyler, who'll probably stick with college football, there might be franchises that you're just like, no, I just don't like them. Give me a couple of teams you hate.
Man, I don't know if hate's a strong word.
Exactly, but we're not doing that as strongly. Just like, no, we're being politically incorrect today.
Like for a team that I'd have really no business dislike, Texas. I've interacted with some Texas fans, never been a huge fan. Like they're like, and especially for a team that owns the most talent-rich, one of the most talent-rich state, doesn't hurt for money. Like they're one of the most underachieving programs probably in college football. Like if we're being honest, like they've won national championship in 50 years or something like that.
Yeah,
like, come on, man, like. You're Texas. Like Texas was the state for a while there. They've never been hurting for anything, and I think they just think they're better than they are. And
okay,
and I actually dislike Tennessee not because of the rivalry aspect, because Georgia and Tennessee, they were divisional rivals, but they weren't like hate rivals.
Yeah.
But kind of what we were talking about last time with LSU Jeff, like Tennessee fans been back since like 07. And like
they've been nowhere.
I've had some Tennessee fans, like I had Tennessee fans tell me they like where they were at with Derek Dooley more than where Georgia was with Mark Richt back in like 07. And like where are they now? Like, Derek Dooley, is he still a thing? I don't know. But
we got a book by no.
That's Vince Dooley.
Yeah, Vince Dooley's wife actually is the author of that book.
But it's basically any program. Like when your team sucks and you can't just admit we suck. Like I just don't like it. I just don't like it.
How funny would that be? Now, you do have some honest fan bases out there, but you get that like Florida State for a while, and they were back last year, right? Florida State was back last year. No one can take that away from them. But for, the last few years, it's been that, we back this year. Oh, we back this year.
Miami's at that point.
But Miami's been there since 2001. But what if they had hashtag we suck? Like, we suck and we know it or whatever. Let's see here. We've got Jake saying the Yankees. Yep, I absolutely hate them too. I think he added he hates the Celtics too. Joey says, you weren't real happy watching my Gators whipping that Tide that day in my theater, which was an awesome place to watch the SEC. I believe it was the SEC championship. It might have been, yeah. I believe that's the year it was 08. But, I've never been fond of Florida, but I will say this. They've got some of the best uniforms. Just their classic orange helmet with the blue. I've always liked their helmets, man. So, and they've got a great fan base as well. I know way too many Florida Gator fans to be sitting here talking trash about them because I might not make it here tomorrow.
A few times,
yeah,
and I've actually had a pretty good time. It was a fun ribbing with some Florida fans in Jacksonville. So I dislike Florida. I love watching them lose right now, but most of the Florida fans I know have actually been pretty good people.
Yeah, and again, we're not talking about the fan bases. Yeah. As LSU Jeff was teeing us up for that. Let's see. Kyle says Duke basketball just because they are the epitome of collegiate bandwagon.
That's a good one.
I can't tell you how many have one college football team, but then they also have Duke as their favorite basketball team also. I'll say this about myself. Growing up, I never watched Alabama basketball. In fact, I don't remember, outside of March Madness time of the year, I just don't remember a whole bunch of college basketball being on a lot. But so for me, whenever you got down to the tournament, there wasn't many times where Alabama was even in the tournament. So, oh man, I don't know if we're going to go to this next caller, but, so I was kind of one of those weird ones where it's I was partial to North Carolina, and I still will say I don't root for North Carolina, but if Duke and North Carolina are playing, I'm picking North Carolina.
We can tell by the colors you're wearing.
This is Indiana Pacers, and the blue is baby blue is for tranquility, my friend. If you listen to and that as well, if you listen to the Inside Drive, Jay wears a lot of baby blue, and I'm just trying to, get my headspace in the same headspace as Jay, so I can just bring peace to people. Let's go over to Rob. Rob, tell me about your team and who it is that you hate.
You there?
Rob, you there?
Yep.
All right, so tell me about the team that you hate.
All right, look, now I grew up a San Francisco Giants fan, and if you guys remember back in the 90s, the Giants and the Braves were rivals in the NL West.
Yeah.
For the longest time, it confused me it baffled me. Why was Atlanta on TV so often? Didn't they have how many World Series back in the 90s?
One.
How many NL titles did they win?
11. Right?
Yeah. I grew up hating the Braves with a passion. I'm sorry. I love you guys. I love the talk show. I love talking sports, but I cannot stand the Braves.
Hey, I love that, man. Honestly, I think that's a great reason for it, too. So is it more the amount of success that they had with lack of titles, or just the fact that they were successful? Okay, so a little bit of both.
Absolutely. I love that pitching stuff. John Smoltz, Dave Avery, or
Steve Avery.
Glavine, Chipper Jones. I grew up loving the players on the Braves, but I could not stand the fact that they lost every single time.
Yeah, man. And look, Caveman Rick continues to bring that kind of parallel with Snicker. If he doesn't get another one and they continue to win National League East titles, are they going to be in the same boat? And the comparisons are starting to draw. It's getting closer and closer to that. Snicker's obviously got a little bit more time to get one done. But yeah, I honestly, Rob, I really do appreciate that hatred for the Atlanta Braves because it makes sense. And it was also kind of, you had to watch them because Braves or the Cubs.
Yeah. Growing up in Sacramento, you either watch the Giants or the A's. I picked the A's or the Giants.
Okay.
But the only games that we could catch on TV were the dang Atlanta Braves and the Chicago Cubs, the WGN.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's why there's so many Braves fans to this day, is because of that run that they had, especially on TBS.
There's sure a lot of Atlanta Braves fans.
Yes, sir. Who is your favorite San Francisco Giants player?
Oh, bro.
Barry Bonds.
No, I'm not going to default. I won't default. I like Kevin Mitchell. Kevin Mitchell, I want to say he was left field. He had that amazing catch where he ran. He did the bare hand catch. I'm sorry, he had a bare hand catch over his shoulder.
Let's go.
Kevin Mitchell fan.
Hey, there we go, man. Okay, my guy's in depth with this, bro. Like, he didn't default go Barry Bonds. He gave us a legitimate reason for why he why he hates the Atlanta Braves. Now I'm just putting words in Rob's mouth. Rob, do me a favor.
The hate is strong, my friend.
Hey, what do you here in Panama City?
I do. I actually work right down the street from you guys.
Oh, so you know where we're at then. We're going to give you a $10 gift card to Swampy Jack's because that was a great call, my friend.
Oh, nice.
All right. It's actually a $10 off coupon. But, yeah, man, you can come today if you get here before 6 o'clock. And if not, we'll whenever you're ready. Just do me a favor. Hang on the line real quick, and Caveman Rick's going to grab some info from you. All right, Rob?
Sounds good. Appreciate it, fellas.
Hey, great call, man. And we'll keep it rolling. You know what? You guys give me good calls, and I will hook you up with $10 to Swampy Jack's. In fact, we've got your opportunity for a trivia question. What NBA player was banned from chewing straws on the bench in 2010? What NBA player was banned from chewing straws on the bench in 2010? We'll get back to this trivia question when we return. We'll talk Deion Sanders going to Florida, and we'll talk buy or sell college football teams and the college football playoff. 850-215-6290. Back in a jiff.
America's team plays here.
Swing and a miss. Struck him out. That's number 10.
The Atlanta Braves on ESPN Northwest Florida. Charlie Morton, Max Fried, and Chris Sale lead the Braves' dominant pitching rotation.
That's 18 up, 18 down.
Sponsored by Panama City Toyota, LS Agency Insurance, Bestway Portable Buildings, PCB Hobby, and ESPN Northwest Florida.
Got him swinging, strike three.
This is Joanna with ESPN Northwest Florida with your Tuesday's weather. The remainder of the day, there will be a gentle breeze out of the south-southwest, sunshine and 82. Mostly clear skies tonight, a little cooler at 71 and a wind around 2 miles per hour coming out of the north. Tomorrow, sunny and a light breeze right around 6 miles per hour with a high of 84. The same at 84 Thursday, and we'll have mostly sunshine. This forecast is brought to you by Ellis Agency Insurance. Thank you for keeping that dial at ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Los Rancheros has been doing it right for 20 years. Los Rancheros brings a top-shelf dining experience to you with the opening of their beautiful new building. Watch all college and pro games on Los Rancheros' 14 large-screen TVs with great drink specials daily from 2 to 5 and during all the games. Los Rancheros, the place for live sports and great food on 23rd Street between Jenks and Harrison.
Bestway Portable Buildings has been your portable building specialist since 1989. Before you invest your hard-earned money someplace else, owner Jason Mulder invites you to stop by Bestway and get a quote on just about any size building. And whether you buy with Bestway or not, it's worth the trip just to meet Bestway Buddy. Say hello, buddy. Good boy. Bestway Portable Buildings, just north of Harts Marine on 231, and online at bestwayportablebuildings.com. The best in portable, period. Tell them Buddy sent ya.
WGSX Lynn Haven, WVLQ Port St. Joe. Powered by Panama City Toyota.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
As the weather heats up, so do the Braves. And they're showing the National League that they're still a force to be reckoned with.
3-2, that's hit very well to deep center field. That's heading back towards the batter's eye and way out of the ballpark.
Tonight, the Braves roll into historic Wrigley Field in Chicago for a National League battle with Dansby Swanson and the Chicago Cubs.
Coverage starts tonight at 6 after the Afternoon Underdogs on your home for the Atlanta Braves, ESPN Northwest Florida.
You're riding shotgun with the Afternoon Underdogs. We're going to need some gas money. The Afternoon Underdogs.
Fill her up, please.
At 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
And we are back for hour number 2. We do have a caller on the line for trivia, but Rob, if you're still listening, I guess some lines got crossed up. But if you want to, in fact, you could just text in your information to 850-215-6290. If not, give Rick a call back there behind the glass, and he'll help you. Otherwise, just show up, my dude. Show up today or tomorrow, and you just got your ID, and I will hook you up with that Swampy Jack Wongo's Adventure $10 off coupon. It's great stuff. I do want to read this text while I've been drinking a lot of Haterade, I guess, today, so we've just been in a hating mood. We found out that Tyler just doesn't like any shade of orange because the teams that he hates, Texas and Tennessee. Then I also got an anonymous text. All right, he didn't say to use anonymity here, but I'm going to anyways. He says the team that he hates, the Braves. I'm not going to give too much reason for that because we might be talking about that in the future. But the other teams that he hates, Alabama, his reasoning, entitlement, and then the Rays. He says, and I like this. I love this this reason behind why he hates the Rays. Jealousy, mostly. Small market with good management. They show me what his teams could be, what his team could be. I'm not going to reveal his team because I think that would.
So what did you guess?
You can guess, but I ain't going to tell you nothing, brother.
What did you do this poor guy?
It sounds like AG?
Yeah.
Close, but no cigar.
He hates your Braves, he hates your tie, then he hates, you grew up by the Tampa.
Yeah,
you must have done something to this.
Brother, I think, I drank so much Haterade that I'm just starting to wear off on everyone's like, you know what? We just hate you, David. That's what it is. No, great stuff, man. I really enjoy it. If any of you guys want to call in and talk about the teams that you hate, I am here for the hatred today. And you know what I end off every show with? Jesus loves you and so do I. But today we're just drinking the Haterade, brother. All right,
it's our purge day.
It's our purge day.
Stay hydrated, y'all.
Here you go. All right, Kyle Albritton is on the line with us. What NBA player was banned from chewing straws on the bench in 2010? Kyle, what you got for us?
Yes, sir. That would be Karan Butler.
Have you ever gotten a trivia question wrong on the Afternoon Underdogs?
I actually have once. I haven't got to call in a while, but I have gotten one.
We need to take some of our more consistent trivia winners and have like a trivia. I don't know if it would be like a whole show, but like an hour.
I've seen that. They're actually trying to create like some team Jeopardy thing with like 3 people or whatever.
Dude, I think that, I think we could make something happen like that and make it on a day where we have 3 people in studio. So like we've got 3 hosts in studio. So it would be like on a day, it's me, Tyler, and Max, right? And then we have 3 guests come in, and each of y'all, like, we comprise the team. So 1 listener with me, 1 listener with Tyler, and then 1 listener with Max. And then we play some trivia Jeopardy style.
Trivia Tuesday.
Trivia Feud. So we could also, add some elements of Family Feud to it. It would be like our own little version of Bible Bunkers. But yes, you're 100% right. It was, you got that. Karan Butler back in 2010, and he had played like 6 or 7 years before this even happened, and he was continuing to do this. It was a way for him to deal with anxiety. I'm sure a lot of us, I know I can get that way. If you ever do come into the studio, you'll see a lot of the times the what do you call this little clasp for the pen? Is there a name for that? But you'll see them broken off a lot of the times, and that's because sometimes I just like to shove my thumb in between there, and it doesn't take a lot of pressure before they end up breaking. And I also chew on the ends of the pens and all that kind of good stuff. So what about you, Kyle? You a big straw eater?
No, sir.
No,
and I don't eat grass like Les Miles either.
There you
go. It was lucky there for a while. They went on a run.
It was, man. I guess it just depended on the type of side he was chewing on. Kyle, who are your most hated teams?
Obviously Ohio State, who we all kind of touched on, the Yankees, and then I was the one that obviously mentioned Duke. Because, like I said, I know too many Florida State fans that are Duke basketball fans. And we also all know an Ole Miss fan that likes Duke basketball.
Old Jeremy. Old Jeremy.
But, yeah, I don't understand that. It's like, for me, it's always going to be one team across the board, whether I was a student or not. You know what I mean? That's the way it should be.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I'm right there with you, man. Well, hey, another franchise that I hate, and I didn't hate them until recently. I honestly really liked them growing up. Wasn't not a fan, but I loved Craig Biggio and I loved Jeff Bagwell.
The Killer Bees.
Yeah, but I, just over the last, since 2017, just got a little bit of hatred in my soul for those Houston Astros, my friend. Bang, bang. Hey, Kyle, anything on Jaden Rashad? You got any feelings towards that whole situation?
No, I mean, nobody really cares about a career third stringer for the rest of his career. So, I mean, he's not going to beat out Gunnar Stockton, and nobody really cares what fourth or fifth school he transfers to. So.
All right, there you go, my friend. Well, we've got your information here, and I'm sure we'll see you soon. Thanks so much for the call, my friend.
Yes, sir. You guys have a good day.
What teams do you hate? 850-215-6290. I want someone to just come out of left field with like Utah, or you know what I mean? Just give me a small school
They're
or something
easy
that
to
you hate.
like though, because like they do kind of
Utah?
cheat. Yeah, like they play like I've heard like offensive defensive line. They're kind of like dirty. They play kind of dirty.
I thought you were just talking about something that goes on in Utah that's more prevalent there than anywhere else. And I mean, I guess if it's actually what is it, polyamorous? Is that what it's called?
I think it's more BYU than
polygamy. Polygamy. So I mean, at that point, is that even cheating?
It's all about what you're down with, man. Open-minded.
Ooh. All righty, 850-215-6290. Kyle says BYU, those bums have terrible tailgating. Oh, man.
Well, can't even drink soda, right? So, I mean.
Oh, they can't even drink soda either,
Well,
huh?
I mean, like the whole Mormon thing.
Yeah.
Like, caffeine's like a drug. So, I mean, like you can't even have like soda and like tea, like with caffeine and coffee.
That's so wild. Like every time that I'm kind of searching, go ahead.
I was gonna say, it's kind of funny though. So like, they're supposed to be like that, no drinking and what have you. But when the Olympics were in Salt Lake, just kind of threw that out the window. Cha-ching, we can make some money here.
Well, they can make the money if they're not the ones drinking it, right? They're just
but still, I mean, it's like you have dry counties in places, and now you're saying like it's okay this now because we have an event here, but the rest of the time it's not.
Yeah, it's a dry county, but we just had a little episode of a flood, so it's going to take a while to dry it back out.
Kind of hypocrisy at its finest.
Hey, well, you can find hypocrisy anywhere. I'm not sure if I'm going to read off Chef Ross's comment right there, but hey, Utah getting a hockey team. Going to be looking forward to that. They haven't officially picked a name. They've got like 18,
I've
right?
heard like people, the Yetis being tossed around, but I mean, that's like for like that's like Mongolia and stuff, man, over there, like Mount Everest.
I think they're talking about the cups.
No, I don't think
cups and coolers and whatnot.
I think Athens is supposed to get like a semi-pro hockey team here soon.
Oh,
really?
Have you ever been to any type of a hockey game?
Has one.
No, I've been one. I've heard it's one of those like it's kind of like NASCAR. If you go and experience it, it's a whole different thing than like watching on TV.
Dude, well, and then once you go to a game, you understand what's going on a little bit better. So then if you ever do happen to turn it on to TV. Now with NHL, I'll say that the minor league experience is very cool. Or with hockey, the minor league experience is very cool. I got to go to the Pensacola Ice Flyers this year, and it's just as good. Maybe you get more fights, but there's just something about 18,000 people being, being together and all just cheering, especially when you get a goal, man. When that horn sounds, when you're the home team and that horn sounds, your ears don't work for the next couple of minutes.
You could be the away team and that can happen. Like,
yeah,
for instance, when the Philadelphia fans were in Atlanta, it was basically a home game for us.
But there's something special about when that buzzer hits, when that horn hits. You know what I mean? Like, because what other sport? I mean, I guess you got like Raymond James when the Bucks score, you got the cannon shoot and stuff like that. But in the NHL, it's every single team, and they're all kind of like a personal type buzzer as well.
Well, and some of them after the fact, they got their own song that they're playing.
Yeah, goal songs. Yeah, for sure. I remember when I used to play, whenever we'd have Andrew on or whoever was going to talk NHL and talk Tampa Bay Lightning with us, I would have the goal song as his intro song. All right, so we've got trivia out of the way. We are 31 minutes away to give away a family 4-pack for the Atlanta Braves for this coming Memorial Day. And you also have an opportunity tomorrow at 12:40. And the Coach Hale Show will have one on May 23rd. All right, let's start with... Do you want to get into buy or sell, or do you want to talk about Deion Sanders in Florida?
I mean, Simply
let's do this real quick because I don't think that this conversation will go very far.
Yeah.
Especially if we just keep it on Florida. So let's say this: when Travis Hunter, Shedeur Sanders enter the NFL draft next year, is Deion Sanders at Colorado, at another school, or not coaching any longer?
Ooh. I would say real quick, I'll just make my answer fast.
No, you don't have to be real quick.
He'll probably try to follow them to the NFL. If he can get someplace, get on a coaching staff in the NFL, maybe do something like that. I can see maybe that happening. And then if they leave, he's not going to stay at Colorado. I think he'll go to someplace else.
What say you, Tyler?
I think he's been too good for the program for Colorado to fire from a publicity standpoint. I don't think he's put enough effort for it to be sustained. Like, I'm not even
what they win 4 times the amount of games as year one.
Yeah,
or so?
I don't think he's put enough work to make them any sort of legitimate contender in anything. So I think he just steps away. I think he comes out with something about he just wants to spend time with his family at this point.
All right. I think, man, I think that this is a little bit tougher because let's say that Colorado comes out this year, and this is wild to think, but it's the Big 12 wide open this year, right? Like whoever's in the Big 12 is going to be a lot easier for them this year than what it's been in the past because there's not 2 stalwarts in the middle of your path, right? So like what are we thinking? Oklahoma State, TCU probably be the prime of the Big 12 this year, but who knows? Watch out for UCF and maybe Colorado. If Shedeur Sanders is the number 1 quarterback in the league, or not in the league, but and one of the top 3 quarterbacks going into the NFL draft, then they better make some noise. So if Colorado goes 10-2, then other Power 5 schools are going to take notice. I think there's other Power 5 schools who are kind of looking for that spark, who need that new spark and know that just the publicity alone will give them that spark, but will it translate onto the field? We've yet to see it happen at Colorado. We saw it for game 1 against TCU and for the next couple of games, but then after that, the hype was still there, but the talent, the product on the field was waning at that point. I do not think that Florida in any way, shape, or form is in the cards for Deion Sanders. I don't think that it's going to be a team like Florida. However, I mean, what about it? Let's say a team like Tennessee, who's over the Heupel. I mean, let's say they underperform this year, which they got was Imalaga Vega or what?
Nico Amaliva. It's the way his last name spelled.
Amaliva. And so let's say he changes his mind and he's a Amaliva Tennessee next year. And so, Tennessee's just kind of on Tennessee and Deion Sanders would be a very awkward but a fun fit, right?
I think any program that goes out and hires Deion Sanders isn't very serious about their football program. That's all. That's the easiest way I can put it. Right. That's all I got to say about that.
All right, man. All right. Kyle says Utah. So Deion over there to Utah. I don't know. I think it'll be interesting. I don't think that he just steps away, but I also do not think that he's going to be going to the NFL anytime soon.
That man wants no part of recruiting in the SEC. I can promise you that, right?
Yeah.
Based on the effort or lack thereof he's putting in Colorado.
Yeah. I'm not going to say that he doesn't recruit because I don't know that, but I do know that he loves that transfer portal.
Yeah.
And the transfer portal is a way to fill in gaps, but it's not a way to build a team. And that's what I think people are kind of missing with this transfer portal is you can kind of get your quick fix, but you need to have the foundation for what it is that you want, and then you plug in the spots that you're missing with the transfer portal. And Clemson, or if you're Clemson, you just don't even fool with it. Just don't even fool with it. All right, let's play a little buy or sell here, and we'll start off with the team from around here that everyone loves or loves to hate. And again, 850-215-6290. Tell me who it is in the sports world that you hate. Which team, which franchise, which college can you just not stand? Tell us at 850-215-6290 as we play buy or sell college football playoff chances. Teams not named Georgia or Ohio State. We'll start with Florida State.
I think you have to buy it because of the state of the ACC, but if you look at what Florida State lost, can you honestly say they're going to be a better team this year? I mean, granted, they were playoff caliber, but
is Uiagalelei as good as Jordan Travis?
Yeah.
Some of the pieces, Fisk and Verse, are off rip. You just start right there.
Keon Coleman and Johnny Wilson and Jaheim Bell.
Yeah.
Trey Benson.
Now, they did bring in a lot of talent in the transfer portal, but
Are you confident those guys are definitely better than the guys that replace them?
Can you ever be confident in transfers until you start seeing them on the field? I think the state of the ACC helps them. Yeah. And also, I'll say this, as I've been saying this for a few years now, but specifically what he showed from last year, I believe in Mike Norvell as a coach. And I believe that he's got that program where he wants it. I believe that he's got that thing built up just how I talked about, where he's got what he believes, where the culture needs to be, where the chemistry needs to be, and the additions are just guys that, he's kind of filling in with and not building that foundation with.
15-ish guys like filling in spots?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
I mean, obviously, you did lose a lot to the NFL, but what I'm saying is he's not using the transfer portal to create a new team, though. You know what I mean? It's like they lost a lot of talent, so you have to go out there and find that. Like
I said,
talent,
I think with the state of the ACC, I mean, obviously, more than likely it's going to be one of them or Clemson. I'm not huge on Clemson right now either. So I think right now I'd pick Florida State to win the ACC and thus make the.
Yeah, and all right, so if you're a team in the ACC, how many games can you lose and still make the college football playoff? Because we know teams in the SEC.
I mean, well, not all of them.
You can lose all your games.
All you have to do, well, more than likely all you have to do is win the ACC.
Okay. Yeah, man. See, that's one thing I'm not gonna lie though. If you're like 8-4, which FSU will deserve one, but like if you're 8-4 and you win the ACC championship,
do you think like the American Conference champion is going to definitely be higher than an 8-4 ACC champion? I mean, I don't think.
No,
that's the thing. Like you have to.
But I think we're only going to see one group of 5 team in. For the most
there's got to be.
Right?
Well, no, there's five conference champions. I think. Yeah. I think they amended the rule with the whole Pac-12 situation. So, I think if you're Florida State, you go 9-3, you're in the playoff. If you win the ACC, easy.
So we're buying Florida State to get in the college.
I'll buy Florida State.
I will buy them twice. I'll buy them twice. But all right. So Clemson or Florida State though, if you had to pick right now, water gun to your head, squirt, squirt.
It's gonna be because I'm just not sold on Dabo and his inability to conform to the modern game. And I've never been a huge Dabo guy, but his reluctancy to take portal guys, I just don't know how you could be so stubborn with the results you've had the last 2 or 3 years. Like they're not winning national championships without it. Like if they were doing that, fine, you can do whatever you want to.
Yeah.
But when Kirby does it, he's kind of proven that he doesn't need to do it. But Dabo ain't been doing that the last few years.
I think that's what kind of gets me about the whole situation. It would be one thing, and Clemson isn't falling off. You know what I mean? They're just not the team that they were when they were going on those runs, but they're not completely falling off. However, you can see holes. We know that you got holes, Clemson. Like, do something about it because, and I hate this. I hate this for the high school athlete, but it takes longer to develop, to turn in what you want him to be, a high school athlete compared to a transfer portal guy. But again, you don't got to have 15 transfers or whatever, but if you don't got 3 or 4, that you should be feeling like you've got not just playoff, championship aspirations. If you're not putting your feet into the transfer portal pool, then you should be one of the final 4 teams each year.
Yeah. No, I mean, the thing is, if Georgia, Bama, Ohio State, like if those, consider the 3 most talented teams on paper, the recruiting rates, like if they can afford to take a few guys, Clemson can afford to take a few guys. Like that was Dabo's thing, like late last week, earlier this week. Oh, nobody in the portal was better than what we already had here. That's a bold strategy.
Debatable. That's debatable. Bold strategy there, Cotton.
It's kind of off topic but how many teams do you think from the SEC get in the playoff this year one?
Oh.
Like, what would be your over-under?
Over-under. All right, so if I'm putting an over-under on it.
I would say like 5.5.
Okay, I was going to go 4.5. Where are you at with that?
I think I'm right there at that 4.5 mark.
4.5? I don't. 5.5's not bad.
I don't think they can put.
I just think with like the way people look at college football and the way the SEC is looked upon as being like the top conference, I think at least the first year or two of the 12-team playoff, they're going to kind of get the benefit of the doubt, I think, with some cases, and that's going to lend themselves to like getting like an extra team or 2.
That would be 4 of the last 7 spots going to the SEC?
I mean, when we looked at it like this past season, when the season was over, every team was going to be SEC or Big Ten other than maybe like Florida State if they got in with the 12 teams.
Yeah.
I mean, so if you do that and do the math right there, I mean, that's your 5.5 right there.
So Florida State, group of 5, Notre Dame,
Ohio
Big
State,
12,
Big 12, Ohio State.
Which, but the Big Ten also has to be looked at in a different way too now because of the additions of Oregon and Washington.
That they're going to get an at-large between Oregon or Penn State, or I don't think Washington or USC is going to be there this year, but I think between one of those two.
Now, do Oregon State or Washington State automatically get in?
I don't believe they count as a conference champion.
That's right. I think that because I feel like this was just about a month and a half ago where they had that vote where Washington State and Oregon State thought it behooved them. It was better for them to kind of get in as an at-large rather than as their conference champion. Because that would be ridiculous to be,
because they're not a conference.
Yeah, you're not a conference, even though I guess technically you're the Pac-2 or what, I don't know. I have no idea how that situation's going to pan out. So we essentially just counted 6, right? Florida State, or we'll go ACC, Big 12, Group of 5, Notre Dame more than likely, 2 for the Big 10. And then, so that would leave 6 teams, which that could be all SEC teams. I just think that if the Big 10 gets 2 teams in, every other conference only gets 1, and the SEC comes in with 6. The SEC better have been playing some really good football, and their bowl, they better not have a bowls. They weren't good in the bowl season last year, were they? They were like kind of
hit or miss.
I see. Kyle says the Pac-2 is still more competitive and more real than a Jake Paul fight. Man, throwing shade on someone who would whoop us all. 850-215-6290. I don't know. I'm not looking forward to that Mike Tyson Jake Paul fight, but I'm more than likely going to get some eyes on it.
Staged, it's going to be. It's just so scripted.
Yeah,
there's no way it's going to be like a legit fight.
I just hope Mike Tyson doesn't make a fool out of himself.
What? Oof.
I like him a lot, man. I've always looked up to him, as a kid and everything. And I just hate to see him just to make himself look, bad.
Yeah, well, I guess he is opening himself up to that opportunity, and also Jake Paul's opening himself up to the opportunity, provided that it's not scripted. You take another loss. Now, it is going to be a good-looking loss, I guess, if you will, to Mike Tyson, but you take another loss, it's going to be harder. It's going to continue to get harder for you to sell these pay-per-views if you keep losing. Half of the aura is him winning.
I think Tyson's got to win it. If he's going to knock him out, it's got to be done in the first 2 rounds. After that, I don't think anything's going to happen.
Dave wants to take the dive for some money. Look, I'm not a fighter, especially a legitimate trained fighter. I wouldn't even have to take the dive.
I don't want to get hit by Mike Tyson. I don't care how old the guy is. Knock your head off.
100%.
I don't even know if I would get in the ring with a guy like Jake Paul. Anyone trained, I'm a stupid individual, but I'll tell you, I'm not messing with anybody who's trained in any aspect of fighting, because they do that, and I like being able to think. I like that I haven't started to try to work or fill out an application for AB and be on CTESPN.
Tyson's old, but the last thing that's going to go for a fighter when you have it is power, and that dude had power. So if he gets one shot in, it's one shot, and that's it. That's all he needs.
Chris says, I could take Tyson and Paul. My pack is a pack 6 because of my cut abs. So
good luck.
There you go, man. Hey, we're talking about Cali, man, Chris here. Okay,
I hear you, but I'm just good luck.
Hey, I don't know.
I'll let you try that one. I'm good on this.
His name's called Iron Mike for a reason.
Hey, I don't know. I might would take Cali, man, in that. We had him in the studio not too long ago and looked like he was gonna beat the brakes off of Mr. Personality, but Jack Patterson was able to get in the way there. We appreciate all your comments. If there's any teams out there that you absolutely hate, call in with them, 850-215-6290. We're going to take a quick time out. We'll be right back.
ESPN Northwest Florida. The Afternoon Underdogs.
Hey, Braves fans. Today on the Afternoon Underdogs, it's your chance to win a family 4-pack of tickets to Truist Park. Experience the Atlanta Braves versus the Washington Nationals this Monday, May 27th on Memorial Day. Listen today at 5:40 for the cue to call. When you hear it, be caller number 10 at 850-215-6290. The Afternoon Underdogs are live and local, exclusively on ESPN Northwest Florida.
Good evening. This is Joanna with your weather forecast from ESPN Northwest Florida on this Tuesday. Mostly clear tonight with a wind around 7 miles per hour out of the north and a low of 70. Tomorrow morning, look for a gentle breeze and sunshine with a temperature near 82. The afternoon and evening, a high around 84 and sunshine. Thursday, quite warm with a high of 84 and mostly sunshine. This weather forecast is sponsored by Mid-South Lumber, the best little lumber yard in Panama City. Thank you for keeping that dial at ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Here at Tracy's Fine Jewelry, we're here to help you celebrate the graduate in your life. What better way to celebrate this moment in time than with an exquisite timepiece? We have a large selection of Bulova and Caravelle watches, now 15% off. Tracy's Fine Jewelry has the perfect personalized gifts, from diamond initial pendants and rings to monogram pieces they'll cherish for a lifetime. All on sale today for 30% off. Commemorate your graduate today and show them how proud you are with a gift from Tracy's Fine Jewelry on the corner of 15th Street and East Avenue in Cedar Grove.
Are you looking for a place to take a leak? Do you have a truck, tractor, or other hydraulic equipment leaking or not performing as it should? At Reliable Hydraulic Solutions, we can get you back to work. Do you have a busted or leaking hose? We can typically replace them while you wait. Hydraulic cylinder or pump needing repair? In many cases, we can have it back to you the next day. Reliable Hydraulic Solutions, 6840 Highway 77 in Southport, just south of Tractor Supply. The best place in town to take a leak.
As the weather heats up, so do the Braves. And they're showing the National League that they're still a force to be reckoned with.
3-2, that's hit very well to deep center field. It's heading back towards the batter's eye and way out of the ballpark.
Tonight, the Braves roll into historic Wrigley Field in Chicago for a National League battle with Dansby Swanson and the Chicago Cubs.
Coverage starts tonight at 6 after the Afternoon Underdogs on your home for the Atlanta Braves, ESPN Northwest Florida.
ESPN Northwest Florida. He entered a kids' 1 mile fun run and came in 9th. David Hayes is part of the Afternoon Underdogs. Weekdays 4 to 6 on ESPN Northwest Florida and the ESPN Northwest Florida app.
And we are back in the doghouse. This is the Afternoon Underdogs. I'm David Hayes along with Tyler Bishop and Caveman Rick. You guys can call or text us at 850-215-6290. We've got a few texts rolling in. Professor Plum says Notre Dame is a team he hates. I've got a little bit on Notre Dame and why Notre Dame in 2025, not 2024, but 2025 might become a loved team, especially by fans of former football players. All right, Ryan texts in. He's got a few of them. He says, I'm 100% with Tyler. I ain't down with orange. I won't rock it. Don't own any orange clothing. I even got permission to wear neon yellow shirts to work. That's how much I hate orange. I love that. That is a great text. I might have to hook you up with $10 to Swampy Jacks for that. He also says, no hate to the Flyers. Only team with orange I can get down with in any way. He says, I can't stand Miami. Of all the conceited fans I've met with the U swagger, never even went to the U. Like 90% of their fans have absolutely no tie. Never went to Miami, never been to Miami, zero ties to Miami. And we've got Ed on the line. Ed, you're riding with the Afternoon Underdogs. My friend, who do you hate?
Ed.
Yeah, I'm here.
All right, let's talk about who you hate, my friend. Who is it, and why do you hate him?
Okay, Penn State. Grew up in the Northeast. Nobody liked them up there. Of course, we didn't have any football teams anyway. And even when I lived in the Mid-Atlantic, the Penn State fans were just ridiculous, stupid, holier than thou, and ridiculous. Just never liked them, period. And they always got more play than Florida State. Paterno always got more play than Bobby Bowden, and it was just bad news. Second team would be Notre Dame, because Notre Dame was holier than thou Catholic, but never really acted it. And in the pros, Seattle Seahawks, because I could never stand their coach now that he's gone, and Denver Broncos, because I was never a John Elway fan.
Oh.
That pretty much has it for me, but and of course Mike Tyson. I grew up in Albany and saw him fight there in his early days, and you're right, you would never want to be hit by that son of a gun.
No, absolutely not, man. I'm not a hockey player, don't intend on missing any teeth here in the future, so I would not want to get in the ring with old Iron Mike Tyson. So who is your college football team, Ed?
Oh, FSU.
Okay, FSU. Do you think that you guys make the college football playoff this year? 12 teams.
I've been listening to you guys. It's just so hard. You just don't know what you're going to end up with. I think with the extended, they might have a chance. I mean, it's just too hard to tell. I really don't know enough about the team right now to make an intelligent comment.
Hey, that
never stopped us.
yeah, absolutely.
I know.
Oh,
I'm hoping that's it. As a fan, we're hoping.
Hey,
so.
There you go. Ed, I'm also going to hook you up with a $10 Swampy Jack gift. It's a coupon, rather. $10 coupon to Swampy Jack Wongo's Adventures. Have you ever been to the station before?
I've driven by it, so I know where it is. I can probably stop over there Friday.
All right. Sounds good, man. If you'll do me a favor, just hang on the line real quick, and Caveman Rick's going to grab some more info from you, all right?
Okay, cool.
Great call there from Ed. We appreciate it. 850-215-6290. Kyle says, facts about the U fans. He says, Notre Dame is irrelevant now, and Rudy is not a great sports movie. We're just airing things out today. Today it's a purge.
Confession Tuesday.
It's Confession Tuesday. I feel like we need a little booth in here. Oh, my goodness. I do want to share with you guys in the final segment some of the names that's going to be on that 2025 Notre Dame team. Kyle Wright says FSU is a 9-11 win team this year.
That's probably right. I mean, their schedule isn't super daunting by any means.
But you don't know what you're going to get out of the ACC. Of course, we assume like, hey, they'll be the ACC will be down. But I like 9-11. I think that's a very safe.
That's a very fair, safe range.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Absolutely. All right, let's see what else we got here. Oh, Chef Ross says Rudy is an amazing sports movie. So now we've got a little argument brewing over here in the comment section.
Rudy was offside, Joe.
Rudy was offsides. Now we're getting truths about the movie. Here we go. What do you think? Was Rudy offsides or not? 856. We don't want to open up that rabbit hole. Caveman Rick, real quick before we dive back into buy or sell. I know Tyler's got to be like, dude, like, we set this up and you're just over here rambling about other things.
Tuesdays
Who are yeah, exactly. That is what Tuesdays are for. Who are the teams you hate? We never got to those.
Teams I don't really like. Okay, we already touched upon
No. Teams you hate.
All right, Yankees are one.
Yeah.
Even though I'm an NL fan, it's just the fact that all the success that they've had throughout the years. Everybody likes to toss them flowers, roses. They're always like on Sunday night baseball when they're good against the Sox, so they're tiresome. Lakers are another one, kind of tiresome team. You hear a lot about them. They get a lot of love, even when like they probably don't even need to, just because of the brand and the name. So that's another one. Let's see, try to think of some more. Just off the rip, most of them are just rivalry type teams I don't like, for the most part. Outside of that, if a team just like, the Patriots, man, gets a lot of love for a lot of reasons. Some not always the greatest. Of course, I'm not going to be down with that, so that's another team right there I don't really give a rip about. Hate hearing about them. Kind of glad that they're like not doing so well. And hey, Kansas City's going right up there right now. Getting kind of done with them. They're getting a little tiresome. So this coming season, I'll be kind of sick and tired of hearing about old Pat Mahomes, Andy Reid, Taylor Swift, Travis Kelce.
I hated Tom Brady and the Patriots, man. I think that when Tom came to Tampa, that's when he started becoming like a more likable character, kind of like he freed up a little bit. But I hated him to the point that I put a quarterback over him that I never, actually witnessed in Joe Montana. I was always like, hey, Joe Montana is the best quarterback. Anybody who'd sit there and say, and this was before I ever worked at the radio station, I believe, anyone were to ever ask, I'd be like 4-0, like, you know what I mean? And so I would ride with Joe Montana.
No interceptions.
And no interceptions, right? I mean, there's so many little things that you could point out. But then after that 28-3 comeback against the Falcons, which you can blame it on whatever, the play calling from Kyle Shanahan, the great catch from Julian Edelman. There's so many little things in every single football game, every sporting event. There's so many things that you could point out that were huge factors in why a team would win. But after that, I was like, it is what it is. It was like the fourth Super Bowl in a row that I'd lost money betting against Tom Brady. So I was like, all right, I'm done with this. And Tom Brady's the GOAT, man, because I just had enough of it. And I, never came around to liking the Patriots at all. But I do have to say, I did come around to liking Tom Brady after he became a Buccaneer. And I think that's just because he was more personable at that point.
Yeah, I still don't like him.
Yeah, no doubt.
I still
never change, Rick.
Greg Olson's a better commentator than he is. And
we ain't even heard him yet, baby.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm looking forward to.
Yes, sir. Keith had texted in earlier, said, are you guys doing fantasy football again this year? If so, he'd like to be in it again.
Hell yes.
We are absolutely doing fantasy football again this year.
Are you kidding me?
I don't think I'm adding another league. I think we're going to keep it tight there at 3 leagues and then the Champions League. So 4 total leagues.
I'm on it this year. I'm mad. I'm angry that I'm not in the Champions League anymore.
There you go.
So I'm going to be on a mission to get back in that thing.
There you go, man. And the Champions League, it's a little easier to get into it, but definitely harder to stay in it with 16 teams going to be in the Champions League. The one thing I will say is, as of right now, we're not going to be holding it at Dave & Buster's again. I would really like to find a business that's local here to Panama City. It could be Panama City Beach. It's got to be a big enough, obviously we'd like to have food and beverages at this place. So a restaurant would be preferable, but a place that's big enough for us to hold 4 leagues, and that it would be a good thing for that business that they've got 48 plus people in there for, how long were we there? Probably 3-4 hours or so.
About 3 hours or so.
Yeah, and it's a great time, and people have a lot of fun. So if you know of a business out there that you'd like to nominate for me to go talk to them and see if we could make it happen, because I know how it goes, man. I know how it goes. I end up getting to July, and then then I just start losing hair. It's no coincidence that through the last 4 or 5 years I've lost just about all of my hair and it just won't grow back. This isn't from haircuts. This ain't from haircuts. This is from stress. No, I'm just kidding, man. I honestly thoroughly enjoy putting these things together. But a local business, it would be awesome to help that business, and then also to help our listeners have a great time for the fantasy football draft. It was a lot of fun last year, man. It continues to grow, which that side of me is like, oh man, I kind of want to just add another league because we continue to get more people. But then the one thing that stinks about it is once you kind of get close to that draft and people start having things come up and then they can't make it, so you got to have this side roster, of people who could be available. Yeah, your bench fantasy managers. Yeah, absolutely. All right, let's get back to buy or sell. And want to remind you guys, we're 3 minutes away for opening up the phone lines for you to win a family 4-pack of tickets to the Atlanta Braves. 540. We're taking caller number 10. You're going to win a family 4-pack to Truist Park for next Monday, May 27th, when the Braves host the Washington Nationals at 3:10 p.m. Should be a great game and a good opportunity for the Braves to get a win. Ole Miss. This might be our final topic of the day. Ole Miss, do you buy or sell? I think it would be really hard to sell here, but buy or sell Ole Miss's playoff chances for 2024.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think they made some big splash in the portal. They got a lot coming back. Jackson Dart at quarterback. Also they don't play Bama. They've got Georgia and Oxford November-ish. I want to say November 5th, I think, whatever that weekend is, November 7th. They can drop that game. They could probably go 10-2 with the preseason hype they have and still stay in that top 9 to 12-ish range. So I think they should be able to sneak in as the SEC 3 team at worst.
All right. What about for you, K-Man?
Yeah, I agree with the 12-team playoff, the success that Lane Kiffin's had and what they've done in recent years, I think will get them into the playoff. With all the transfer portal stuff going on, changing of the guard on some teams, I think that they would probably be, like Tyler was saying, probably a top 3 or 4 SEC team that'll probably get them in. Yeah,
I'm right there with you guys. I think this one's easy at this point in time of the year, not thinking of any injuries. Jackson Dart's back, right?
Yeah, Jackson Dart's back.
They lost a running back for the most part, right? Yeah. And there was they could have held on to that running back, but Lane Kiffin felt good about what he had and what he was able to get to replace that. And they've had that transfer portal in the running back room for Ole Miss has been like a revolving door, just kind of swinging around. They add some people, lose some people, add some people, lose some people. So that'll be all 3 of us buying the chances for Ole Miss. Let's go to another team then. Wow, that was one of the quickest ones we've ever done with just one topic. USC, though, this is a team that's interesting, right? Brennan Rice, gone. Some quarterback that they had who won the Heisman, gone. Caleb Williams to the NFL. And now schedule just got a whole lot tougher for them on a week-to-week basis, right, with the Big Ten. So, do you buy or sell the playoff chances for Lincoln Riley and the USC Trojans?
I'm selling on USC. I don't love the way that Lincoln. It's going to be such an interesting match, Lincoln Riley style going up against the Big Ten, which you kind of think is like the older school gridiron, and Caleb Williams this year. Moss was their quarterback for the bowl game. He had a great game, but if Caleb Williams took them to 7-5, I'm not confident he's going to do better.
Hey, Caveman Rick, hit something on the soundboard that's a cue to call. It doesn't even matter what you just play. Hit a button, any one. Done. There. Back in my day, we used to give away a lot more tickets, but the phone lines are now open for your chance to go to Truist Park. We're going to be taking caller number 10. We're going to let Caveman Rick take us to break so he can get busy with the phone lines. We'll be right back with some more Buy or Sell.
ESPN Northwest Florida is celebrating our 7-year anniversary on June 26th.
That'll be a curtain call right here.
You made us the #1 destination on the Panhandle for live and local sports talk, high school, college football, the NFL, and the Atlanta Braves.
Way on back it goes, and scorched.
And to thank you for helping us reach this milestone, we're giving away more tickets to the Atlanta Braves this season than ever before. Keep listening for details from ESPN Northwest Florida.
Hey, Howard, what you doing up there? Listen to this story about Swampy Jack and the Swamp Ape. You know, the Florida Bigfoot.
Oh, yeah, like Abominable Snowman at the Old Miracle Strip Amusement Park.
No, Clyde, like the Florida Bigfoot. They call it a Swamp Ape.
Right. Swampy Jack's One-Go Adventure in PCB has a ride called a Swamp Ape. Like the Abominable Snowman, only turbocharged.
No, I'm listening to a story on YouTube about Swampy Jack and the Swamp Ape.
Right, Swampy Jack. That's his story and the reason he built his Swamp Ape ride.
Man, I love that Abominable Snowman. What was the song I used to ask for?
I remember you like Kickstart My Heart.
Yeah, that's it. What say we go to Swampy Jack's in Panama City and give it a whirl?
I hear he's got a mostly tame swamp ape there.
Oh, come on. You can't catch them, much less tame them. Why, they're the hide-and-seek world champion.
Swampy Jack's One-Go Adventure, 284 Powell Adams Road, Panama City Beach.
At Panama City Toyota, summer starts now. And you'll get 2.99% APR plus 90 days until you make your first payment on a new Camry. Get 2.99% on the fun-to-drive Corolla. Stand out and get 2.99% on a new RAV4. Or go bold and get 2.99% on the tough Tundra. Celebrate summer with a great deal from Panama City Toyota.
Offer expires June 3rd. Visit PanamaCityToyota.com.
It's time for your Atlanta Braves morning update, presented by Tidal Wave Auto Spa. Get clean car happy at any of the 250-plus Tidal Wave Auto Spa locations today.
Braves split a twin bill with the Padres on Monday at Truist Park. I'm Kevin McAlpin, and your Braves Radio Network morning updates coming up next.
Tickets for the Braves 2024 season are going fast. This season is jam-packed with great matchups. Get your tickets at braves.com/tickets.
Monday afternoon at Truist Park, the Braves dropped Game 1 of their split doubleheader to the Padres by a score of 6-5, but salvaged the finale in the nightcap, blanking the Padres by a score of 3-0. The Atlanta offense jumped out to a quick 5-0 lead in Game 1, thanks to RBI singles from Matt Olson and Michael Harris II, and back-to-back homers from Marcell Ozuna and Matt Olson. But that lead wasn't enough as the Padres took the lead with a 4-run 7th inning, capped off by a big 2-run double off the bat of Manny Machado. Then in the nightcap, it was Chris Sale setting the tone with 7 scoreless innings, scattering 5 hits with no walks and 9 strikeouts. Meanwhile, he got runs in the first on an RBI single from Ozzie Albies, base hit from d'Arnaud in the third, and another home run from Marcell Ozuna. Braves now 10 games over 500, 27-17, and hit the road for a 3-game series in Chicago starting tonight as Charlie Morton gets the nod against fellow righty Javier Assad. Hear all the action live from the friendly confines of Wrigley Field with first pitch set for 7:40 p.m. Eastern. I'm Kevin McAlpin, and this has been your Braves Radio Network morning update.
It's real, and it starts now. Back to the Afternoon Underdogs on the Sports Talk Monster. ESPN Northwest Florida.
We are back. This is the Afternoon Underdogs, and we're in the doghouse. I'm David Hayes along with Tyler Bishop and Caveman Rick, and we've got our winner on the line. Ryan, you are headed to Truist for Memorial Day, man. And, you hate Miami. They're not playing the Miami Marlins. They're going to be playing the Washington Nationals. But how stoked are you to be headed to Truist for Memorial Day?
I'm so excited because I'm even more excited that they're playing the Nats because I've already got a game planned August 3rd. I'm going to see them play the Marlins.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, it's going to be nice to see them play another divisional opponent.
Yeah, 2 divisional games this year. They've got the Cubbies tonight. Do you think Charlie Morton bounces back, or will Assad get the better of him again?
I think Morton will bounce back this evening. Yeah.
All right, let's go Ronald Acuna Jr. We played this game the other day. Not a big deal, stolen base or not. Just one stolen base. Does he get one tonight?
I say he gets one.
I like it. I'm going to double up there. I'm going to say that he gets 2. But, Ryan, we appreciate the call so much. We're kind of low on time, but did you have anything that you wanted to add to your great text from earlier about Miami?
The only one I've really met is John McVay, Charlotte Newby's husband. He's a really good guy from Miami that went to Miami and reps Miami. But besides that, man, I don't know too many people. I don't know if I can name one other person that I know that went to Miami that's a big Miami fan that has anything to do with Miami.
Yeah, with McVay, you can't, he's a little bit more than a Miami fan. He played there.
He's a little bit of a Miami legend.
Yeah, no doubt, man.
But he's about the only one I know that can lay claim to stat fame, and yeah, I don't know another fellow that went to Miami, but I know a lot of Miami fans.
There you go, man. And some of them come by that honestly by kind of growing up into a Miami family and all that good stuff. But then you have others who might just be holding on to the past still, And sometimes we got to grow. We got to let go and grow. You know what I mean, Ryan?
Go ahead. They were big in the 80s. But look, I'm sorry, Generation X. Miami's gone.
They gone with the wind, gone like yesterday. Ryan, thank you so much for the call, my friend. It's always great to talk to you. And all we're going to need is your email. So if you want to text over your email, we'll get you those tickets sent over, my friend.
All right, perfect. Thank you so much, guys. I hope y'all have a wonderful Memorial Day weekend. And don't forget the reason for it. Thank you to everyone who's laid their lives down for our country. I appreciate everyone that is in the military, and especially those that gave the ultimate sacrifice.
Come on, man. I don't know if a call has ever been ended better than that right there from Ryan, because that's what it's all about. We would not be able to sit here and talk about the stupid stuff that we talk about, because in comparison, let's be real, how stupid sports are compared to freedoms that we have, and for the people who lost their life in those acts. So definitely appreciate that. Current soldiers as well, but that's what Veterans Day is for, and Memorial Day is to remember the fallen. So
congratulations, Ryan, man. Hope you have fun this weekend or next weekend at the game on Monday.
Yeah, no doubt. And if you haven't been to the Battery in Atlanta, we're going to be giving away tickets all season long. So make sure that you program this station into your radio. If maybe you're just scrolling by and this is the first time that you've ever heard of ESPN Northwest Florida, we're right here, Panama City Beach. Been doing this thing for almost 7 years now. Coming up, our 7-year anniversary is coming up here in June. So put us at the top of your programming list.
And go to your Google Play Store, your Apple iPhone store, and download the app.
Boom.
Here's where you go.
104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. All right, Rick says Charlie will get it done tonight. Yeah, I'm excited about that. So the Braves, man, I got a 640 for the Braves and the Cubs, and then I'm gotta tune into Game 1 of the Boston Celtics and the Indiana Pacers tonight. Then you've got Game 1 of the Western Conference Finals tomorrow night. And that's going to be Dallas and Minnesota. I don't know if that no one had that on their bingo card, but I think that's going to be a very fun series to watch. 2 superstar head over there in Dallas, out and Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving. Then you've got the young gun over there in Ant Edwards, who I know Tyler is a big fan of him, but you also got the number 1 defense over there. Boston through the regular season was like the second best offense and the second best defense. I think they had the best offensive rating, and the Pacers did not have very good success against the Boston Boston Celtics this year as far as how they had success against the rest of the league when it came to offensive output. Their numbers were down going up against that Boston Celtics defense. So it's going to be interesting. Let's get back to buy or sell here.
Don't forget tomorrow night, too. You got the Rangers-Panthers game.
Oh, yeah.
Round 3 Stanley Cup final.
Yeah.
Stanley Cup playoffs.
Wild them having an off day right here. You feel it's been a while since the Bruins and Panthers, not Bruins and Panthers, the Panthers have played, but I guess the Rangers, all right. So
a few days off.
Yeah, a few days off. They need rest more than any other athletes out there, I would say. So, yeah, you got Panthers and Rangers game 1 tomorrow night, and then it's going to be Edmonton and Dallas the following night. That game last night, Edmonton and Vancouver, was pretty good. 3-second period goals for the Edmonton Oilers. Vancouver claws their way back, had an opportunity with about 20 seconds left to go, and Edmonton hung on there, and we saw a little bit of that potent offense in the second period. All right, back to buy or sell. Well, who do you think wins all 4 of those series? Real quick here. Rattle them off. I'm going to go, all 4 of the series. So I'm going to say it's going to be Boston and Dallas. I'm going to say Boston and Dallas. I think that Minnesota might just be a little too young. But then once I'm saying that out loud, I'm like, I don't know. That defense is going to be something serious. I'll go Boston, Minnesota, and I'm going to go with my heart pick here. I think the Rangers are a better overall team, but I love, not my heart necessarily, but I love the physicality that the Florida Panthers play with. So I'm going to go with Florida, Dallas for the Stanley Cup playoffs.
Yeah, I want to see Edmonton. I want to see a Canadian team, so I'll take Edmonton in the final. I'll take them against, just because I hate New York and I'm a Philly fan, I'll go with Florida. They haven't won one yet, so I'll go there. And then in the basketball, Minnesota, again, team that hasn't ever won anything. Like to see them actually go and do something. It wouldn't be their first team or first trip to the finals, but it could be their first chance at winning the finals. So let them go there. And then why not the Pacers?
I mean, why? Yeah, why not?
Why not? Why not go with another team?
Yeah, no doubt. I'll be rooting for them. There ain't no doubt about that, man.
Pick them, but I mean, you're being like a real just a real fan, you're not being crazy or nothing, thinking about it like legitimately. So,
and I would love to be surprised here, but not many people are going to be picking the Pacers in this series. It's going to be, it's going to be fun whenever we have AG on, and after tonight, let's say they get down into clutch situations, because that's where Jason Tatum has not separated himself, is not being big in those clutch situations late in the game. So if he's failing in that time, because the Pacers can score with the best of them, so if they can keep the pace up, that could work well in the favor of the Indiana Pacers. But you're also going to need to see Tyrese Halliburton kind of go from that facilitating playmaker to more of a scorer. He is a playmaker. He can score. He needs to be in this series. He needs to score lights out. But also TJ McConnell, I mean, his claim to fame was covering Jalen Brunson. Is he going to have that same type of role in a series where sometimes it's Tatum kind of point forwarding a little bit, but also Jaylen Brown and Derek White there. All right, back to pick a team here, Tyler. We don't got many teams left on this list, and we've only got about 5 minutes. What team would you like to play buy or sell with?
Man, we'll do a little Oregon.
Oregon here. No Bo Nix.
They got Dalen Gabriel out of Oklahoma.
Yeah, that's true. And then they also got the other kid, Pettis.
No. Dante Moore.
UCLA.
Yeah. I think it's going to be an interesting one. I mean, they're coming over to the Big Ten. I mean, we know the Big Ten is going to probably get at least two teams in there. I think they're going to be too good not to. Whether it's Michigan, whether it's Oregon, whether it's Penn State. I mean, if Oregon's not the number 2 Big Ten team, do you feel great about your chances of making the playoff at that point?
Yeah.
Like if Penn State maybe plays a little bit better, which I'm not buying the hype for Penn State by any means.
And Ed don't want to hear it.
No. And I don't have Oregon scheduled for me, but I mean, if they have to go to Michigan late November, like that may not be a great spot for them. They could drop that one despite Michigan maybe not being as talented as last year. I wouldn't love their shot about beating Ohio State in the Big Ten championship. And it'll be interesting to see how those losses, like does a Big Ten championship loss knock a team from like the second Big Ten team to a third place due to record and everything else? How does the committee treat those extra games, quote unquote? Obviously, knocked Georgia out last year. Didn't really help Florida State last year. It's been kind of hit or miss. Didn't hurt TCU 2 years ago.
A loss in the SEC championship can do the same for you that a win in the ACC championship can.
This is true.
Oh, yeah, I love it. Oh, that was fantastic. That was
Facts, not shade.
Where's Max?
I mean, Dan Lanning was, the guy there for a minute at, everybody thought I was going to be Bama's next head coach.
Yeah.
Can he take that next step forward? He hasn't won anything, really. I mean, he lost to Washington twice last year. He lost to Utah the year before. He's got a lot of hype, and I think he's great for a young coach, but at some point, you got to win something. Like, you got to win something that matters.
Yeah,
and
man.
You can't really say he's done that yet.
Wins, not clicks, right?
Yeah, I mean, right now he's got a lot of clicks. He doesn't. I mean, he's won a lot, but I mean, he got shellacked by Georgia week one, his coaching debut, which not fair to him. But I mean, like, what prime? I mean, is Deion the Denver or Colorado the most primetime team?
I think that is
USC last year. They don't have a signature win. It doesn't feel
because Ohio State was before Dan Lanning when they beat Ohio State in week 2.
Yeah, they lost to Oregon State last year, late when Oregon State was 10-2. They lost to that because of some fourth down calls. He's made a lot of questionable calls and hasn't really delivered anything of substance yet.
What about for you, Caveman Ray? I love all those points there, Tyler. Caveman Ray, Oregon.
I mean, Oregon's got the brand name with Nike, so they're going to get the flash and sizzle. They'll get transfer portal type players. So because of that, and there's not much going on out west, I want to say they'll probably will because they'll probably have a good enough. Being Big Ten, I don't know. I'll say they'll make the playoffs.
All right,
I'll say they got enough brand name value that even if it comes down like a tiebreaker kind of thing between another team that's not as well known, they'll get in just because of being Oregon and having the Nike connection.
Yeah, so and especially with what Michigan's got going on, or the losses of Michigan.
Plus, wouldn't it be tough for some of those teams to go all the way out west to play? Perhaps out that way, you would think.
Yeah, it's
they're used to more traveling. Oregon is from where they're at.
Oregon is used to the traveling, but some of the teams that they're playing aren't going to be used to that. Like, let's say that they got back-to-back, which I would hope that the schedule makers kind of worked on that to where they didn't. But let's say you got back-to-back West Coast games. So, and the other thing that we, tend to forget about when we're talking about these college athletes is that, at least for what we know of, they got to go to school. Allegedly, they got to go to school. So you got to go out and you play. Well, let's say, use Iowa here as the example. So they got to go out and play Oregon, and then they come back for their week of schooling and whatnot. Then the next week they go play USC, and that could be tough on a team like Oregon who struggles to score, or on a team like Iowa who struggles to score points in regular Big Ten play without having to add on all the traveling. But could this be the year for Iowa's offense with no Baby Ferentz running the offense? What do you think? What's the point per game number here for Iowa? This is our final one. We've only got 30 seconds.
24 last year.
Yeah, I thought it was it might have been lower than that.
I mean, I think if he's not hitting at least what his minimum was supposed to be last year, I think it's going to be kind of considered a fail. But it's Iowa. I just don't know.
Cornbread, baby.
If it's not an upgrade, you didn't upgrade. So that should be the bare minimum. You should be striving to outscore what you've done the last 2 or 3 years.
I think people's minds would blow if they were putting up 26 points per game, on an average. But we'll see, man. College football season is upon us. Your Atlanta Braves are coming up at 6 o'clock. First pitch tonight at 6:40. Just remember, Jesus loves you, so do I. 12:40 for the giveaway on the Inside Drive tomorrow.
ESPN Northwest Florida. We're taking the Inside Drive.
Hey, Braves fans, it's your chance to win a family 4-pack of tickets to Truist Park. Experience Atlanta Braves versus the Washington Nationals on Memorial Day. Listen to